The other way, can they beat it? On the fly, Flagler caught!
Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Over the middle, he has Ebner in for a touchdown.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Catch is made by Amari Cooper, who broke free. Inside the 20, stays in bounds, and is wrestled out at the Eagles' 8-yard line.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
In the mid-range, he'll drive it and tie it up with 2 seconds remaining.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. SicEm365 Radio. A lot to get to today. An update on the Baylor volleyball team. Had a nice day. Men's tennis hosting Texas. There's more college basketball news. But we go to Hinesville, Georgia, and All-American and Defensive Player of the Year and National Champion and now a hero in Hinesville, Georgia. Davion Mitchell joins us live on SicEm365 Radio with Craig Smoak, David Smoak, and Paul Catalina. What does today mean to you? I think you asked that when you won it all, the parade, and now today your hometown is honoring you today. What's it like, Davion?
Man, it's an amazing feeling. I'm blessed to be in this position where the whole town is coming out to support me. They always supported me throughout my whole journey in my basketball career. So it's just a good feeling just to have this get together with this city. It's good for the city. My thing is, I hope I inspire the little kids that's playing basketball and want them to work hard. Just want them to follow the same path as me.
Davion, how many people have you seen here in the last 24 hours or so that you haven't seen in a while?
Not too many. I try to stay out the way. Trying to go places, a lot of places. I'm just waiting for this parade just to see everyone. I just try to stay out the way. But I mean, I see my friends, all my best friends. We just hung out a little bit, ate together, so it was good.
Davion, how was your experience on Monday night at the parade here in Waco, not only being around your team, and who knows, everybody's going to go their separate ways in some cases, but all the former players that came back, the city, just what was that support like for you on Monday night?
Man, it was crazy. For the whole city to come out, I didn't know it was going to be that big of a parade. I didn't know. I kind of thought we was going to go up the street and just like only our fans were going to be there, but it was like the whole community. It was just a crazy feeling. I mean, I've never seen that many people. I didn't even know there was that many people in Waco. It was crazy. I'm just glad that they came out and supported us. The coach did a really good job of just amping this up and make sure that all the fans knew about the parade so they can come out and support us.
Well, Hinesville, Georgia has a little over 30,000, and they're all about to be there for this parade they're going to throw for you today. What's that like?
Okay, say it again. You kind of breaking up. I'm sorry.
Hinesville, Georgia, your hometown, Liberty County, it has about, 33,000 or so that live in where your hometown is, and I believe there's a parade for you and much more tonight. What's that going to be like?
Man, hopefully it'd be pretty big. I mean, I know a lot of people want to come out and support. I mean, it's kind of in the middle of the week, so it's like it's a Thursday, so people probably got work, but I know the people that can't come out will come out. I mean, there's not a lot of people that dislike me in this city. It's a lot of people that always got my back and always supported me. So it's gonna be a good feeling just to see all of them out there.
Davion, I asked Jared Butler this a couple weeks ago when we had him on the show and we were talking about you. For a lot of people, COVID, where you were restricted in what you're doing, kind of changed their routine, but you were a guy who the coaches sometimes had to beg you to get out of the gym and take a break. So in that year that, or the few months that you were away and had to just be in the gym, did it really change your routine all that much, or it just give you more of a reason to be in the gym by yourself?
No, I mean, I kind of never listen to the coaches just because they're not out on the floor with me. I mean, even though they're just trying to help me and my health and things like that, but I know I knew what I had to do to get better. I mean, they supported me in that way, even though they know I didn't listen. They wasn't mad at me, but they was like, Davion, we don't want you to get hurt, anything like that. So, I mean, I kind of understood, so I kind of like slowed it down, but I still was at the gym just working on little things and not go hard.
What was the first thing? Oh, sorry, Davion. What was the first thing that you did when you were able to get out of the bubble? Like, was there a restaurant you wanted to go to, a place you wanted to go to? What was the first thing you were able to do?
My first thing, I would say I wanted to go see my family. I didn't get enough time to see them, so I wanted to go see them.
Davion, there's a couple of things that you did during the tournament that I've learned about in the last couple of hours. One was, everyone knows that Adam Flagler, who ended up having an incredible tournament run, had been kind of in a little bit of a funk. What do you remember what you told Jerome Tang about Adam and what he needed, or what you suggested as a leader with the team?
Yeah, y'all must have talked to Coach Tang. So, I remember having this conversation because Adam was kind of like me in a sense where he's a hard-working guy. He's not going to be in the way of anything. He's going to do what he has to do just for the team. He's always thinking about the team. So I just remember talking to him, to Coach Tang, he's kind of like me. You got to, give him, some room to – you can't really just scream at him in front of everybody. He probably don't take that as well. I mean, he took it as a leader, but he don't take it as well, and it probably can affect him. So I remember talking to him about it, and Coach Tang said, yeah, I understand. Because Coach Tang know with me, he doesn't really do that with me because sometimes I don't take it well, but sometimes I do. So he knew what to do. He made an adjustment. I think Adam had a really good career this year. I mean, he played really well for us. He was like our spark off the bench. So I think for him, Coach Tang did a really good job with him.
Also, another spark off your bench is Matthew Meyer. And at halftime of the Arkansas game, things had not gone as great for him as that he wanted or the team needed. You remember that moment with Coach Tang on that too?
No, that was actually the Gonzaga game.
Okay.
I remember, because Matt was he was slacking defensively, but and Coach Tang is a guy that really looks at defense. He's really hard on defense, and he felt like Matt could have played harder. I felt the same way, so I remember him and Coach Tang kind of butted heads about that, and I remember Matt was kind of mad, so I had to take Matt on the side and tell him bro, this is the last game of the season. We don't need to bump heads now. This is the championship game. We need you. And in the second half, Matt turned to a defensive stopper. He took really big plays, took a charge on Drew Timmons. He got in foul trouble. He made a couple 50-50 balls. He got those. He just changed the whole game with his defensive presence because y'all know Matthew's an offensive guy who scored the ball at a high level. So he just changed the game defensively, and that helped us win the national championship. No question about it. And he did contribute in a big moment when they tried to get close, and then you guys blow their doors off. We're talking to Davion Mitchell, Baylor All-American guard on SicEm365 Radio.
Davion, one of the things I remember reading in a book about Peyton Manning was that he would spend big parts of the offseason, watching himself on film and learning how to do a fake handoff that looked like his real handoff. And he was kind of a scientist when it came to that. You're kind of the same way when it comes to basketball. Coach Tang told us a few months ago that you spent a lot of time just looking at the way your hands were on the ball when you were shooting it to improve your shooting.
Yeah, I think I kind of started out in the summer. Last year, I wanted to have the good rotation on the ball, so it just feels a lot better when you got a good rotation and it goes in more. So just having my hands it's something I emphasize with a guy named Rim back at Mr. GA and Matt Gregg. Those guys would always tell me, the rotation is bad, and I just know when the rotation is bad, it's going to be a really bad chance it's going to just be off. So it's one thing I work on. I try to, every time I'm by myself or something, I try to just have my hands on the basketball and work on putting my hands on the seams of the ball so I can get good rotation.
Davion, you obviously yesterday made it official that you were entering the NBA draft. I know Matthew Meyer is going to test the waters as well, and there will be other Baylor players. But can you just talk about making that decision and what's it like to start that process, which I would imagine is a lifelong dream?
Yeah, man, it was a hard decision. Kind kind of talked with my family about it. I love Baylor, but I think it was the right thing for me and my family. I mean, but like you said before, I'm just blessed to be able to put myself in a position where I can make it to the NBA. That's something I always wanted to do when I was younger. I mean, it's kind of like everyone that plays basketball, that's their dream to go to the NBA. So to finally be able to do it is a one thing. So, like I said before, I'm just blessed, man.
Yeah, well, and so is Baylor because you were a part of it, and everyone else as well, to watch you lead along with others the championship a week ago Monday. So you have this opportunity. You put a lot of work into it. Paul mentioned the extra hours and the extra practice and things that you did. When did you realize that you were about to explode compared to what you were as a really good player to become an All-American, Defensive Player of the Year, and national champion? Was there a moment where you kind of felt like, okay, this is it?
I think after the Illinois game, that was a really big game. Just because they were ranked so high, they was a really good team, and we were, and that was like the biggest. That's kind of like one of the biggest games in our regular season. That was like one of our biggest games. So when I played pretty good that game, I kind of knew like the confidence in me was like getting higher. I was like, okay, I can really do something this year. This can be a year where I can do things, and this team is special. We can do things just by beating a really good team, a team that's been playing together. So I was like, I knew we can really do good things. And after that game, I was like, yeah, we're going to be really good.
Have you always had that quick first step on offense and defense before you got, necessarily good, as good as you are now? Were you always able to get where you wanted to go pretty quickly?
Yeah, I was always the guy that had that quick first step. That was kind of what I was known for in high school, getting to the rim and finishing at the rim and just blowing by people. So, I mean, it's always been the thing.
A lot of your high school dunks are going around here lately. Have you noticed that on like social media? A lot of people have dug back through your high school highlights, and I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, everybody's noticing now. I mean, I could jump really high in high school. I kind of lost it in college just because it's kind of hard to play a college game because you play so hard on both ends. Especially for me, I play so hard on both ends. It's kind of hard to do those dunks like I did in high school.
A head coach and a point guard are the ones who could never have a bad practice, and I was told that Davion never once did he ever have what they would consider not a full throttle practice where you were locked and loaded. Your uncle, Derek, family members, of course. Derek's been great along the way. He told me he walked into the barbershop. He's lived in Hinesville, Georgia since 1986 or 7. He walked into the barbershop earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, and you know what they said to him? They said, "Where's Davion?" They did not care about Derek being there. They asked where you were. What's that been like?
Man, it's been crazy here. It's kind of like I can't really go anywhere without people having pictures, and I'm just blessed to have that name. Everyone will take pictures with me because I never had that before. So, but yeah, I actually went to the barbershop right afterwards, and everyone was like, had a long talk to everyone. It was a cool thing.
Davion, there's a reason why and how you get to where you are. A lot of it is your great God-given talent, but also your hard work. But it's a faith-based team, no question, the way Baylor was, from what you heard from whoever was there. When you look back at the opportunity for you to go from Auburn to Baylor and then what happened, what was that like? And in the end, what does that mean to you, that this journey and the decision to go play for Baylor led to what it is right now for you?
Yeah, me and my mom kind of talked about it. Like, man, if I didn't have that career at Baylor, at Auburn, who knows where I would have went? Like, what if I would have averaged like 9 points? I would have stayed. Like, it probably wouldn't have been the same. So we talked about everything happens for a reason. So like me leaving Baylor, I think that was the best decision I made. Me leaving Auburn was the best decision to go to Baylor. Because they did everything for me. Auburn did a really good job with me. They taught me a lot of things. It just wasn't I didn't feel like I fit there. So, but me going to Baylor was the best decision I ever made in my life.
Davion, you're about to start this new journey, and I know you got to go because it's a busy afternoon and evening. The parade at 6 o'clock Eastern, and then there's a ceremony after that as well where they will honor you as they should. What does Baylor mean to you, from Coach Drew to Coach Tang to Coach Jacobs? You mentioned Rem and so many others, all the former coaches and players. You saw 130 former players come back that had no idea maybe who you were 3 or 4 years ago. In the end, what does Baylor mean to Davion Mitchell?
Man, it means a lot. Those guys changed my life on the basketball court and off the basketball court. They taught me how to be a man, keep God first, and that's what I do with my life. So I'm just, like I said before, Baylor's the best decision I've made in my life. I'm thankful for Coach Drew for letting me be the point guard or be the leader on the team and learning things from him, man. He's the most humble guy I know. I try to take things from him. He's a special guy. He's always going to be there forever for me. I think that's the guy he is. And I'm just thankful for all the coaches and GAs that just put up with me. Always in the gym or asking questions. I mean, learning from them was a once in a lifetime thing. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna come back to Baylor and support Baylor throughout their whole years Coach Drew's there, and just Baylor in general. I'm always gonna come back to support and do things for Baylor.
Has it been a blur all these since the tournament? Maybe has it been kind of a blur the last week or so?
Yeah, for sure. It just went by so fast. Like me and Rim, when the GA talked about it, man, the season was like fast. Like it was, you didn't notice it. But like you said before, we announced the championships, and that was our goal.
Mm-hmm.
Glad we got to accomplish that goal.
Davion, thank you very much. Tell Derek we appreciate him. I'll text him as well. Enjoy the night, the moment, the journey, the memories, and good luck with what you do next in the National Basketball Association. We appreciate you so much for joining us to start the show today.
Thank you.
Davion Mitchell, All-American, defensive, unanimous, consensus all defensive player of the year. Just took off. The second half against Villanova, when they were a little shaky, down 7 at halftime, he blew the doors off of Villanova and their offense. And that led, of course, to others who along the way, from Teague and Butler to Vital, Flo Thamba, Jonathan Chama-Chachua, Matthew Meyer, Adam Flagler, Maceo Teague. I don't know if I didn't mention him. He always seems like sometimes he's overlooked. He's an All-American as well, so that's cool. He doesn't know this. He's off, right? We're done with. They're going to give him a key to the city tonight. They're going to present that to him a little bit later on tonight. They have the parade, then they have the ceremony, and yes, there'll be a lot of, I'm sure, proclamations. Armstrong loves those.
Well, he could certainly find out between now and then, now that you said it, though.
Well, then.
He doesn't know this, but they're going to throw him a surprise party, but there won't be evidence.
On public radio. Tons of people who know him listening in, yeah.
So if you just heard that and you're next to Davion, don't tell him we said that.
Yeah. All right, well. Derek, appreciate Derek Mitchell. He's been great. He's been on with Ashley. I know he was on with Up-Tempo a little bit a couple of times. He's been great.
Yeah, I wish I would have asked the question about getting out of the bubble a little bit better, just because I'm curious what it was like for those guys coming out of that thing. And obviously family's the first answer, but I should have said other than family.
Yeah.
Because golly, what would you do if you were cooped up for an entire month indoors, basically the entire time, and you're finally let free?
I would probably want to get into my car, open up the windows, and just drive around, just somewhere to get some fresh air, or go sit at a park and just watch, I don't know. It's a great question. It really is. But, yeah, they opened that up. That's what they did after the game. They said, okay, I think a certain amount of people could go in and the families. Maceo Teague, by the way, yesterday was Maceo Teague Day in Cincinnati. Today is Maceo Teague Throwback Thursday, sharing memories of Maceo's highlights at Walnut Hills High School on social media. And then tomorrow he's the special guest of the Cincinnati Reds. He'll throw out the first pitch, and there'll be more for Maceo Teague tomorrow. We're going to hear from a principal who I believe is his high school principal who's helped put a lot of this together. He's going to be a part of our show tomorrow. And so that's thanks to Barbara, his mother, for setting that up. All right? So that's great. What a great way to start SicEm365 Radio on this Thursday afternoon. There are the men's tennis team is hosting Texas. Now, it doesn't matter to me whether it's at the Herd Tennis Center, most likely because of some of the weather. It will be inside the Allison Indoor. So that's tonight. I think it's at 6 or 7 o'clock against Texas. They've already beaten Texas twice. The volleyball team, was down 2-1 to Pepperdine, came back to win 3-2, and they now move into the Sweet 16. So that's a nice win.
Do you think
for that team?
Pepperdine's bummed that they have to leave Omaha and go back to Malibu?
I wouldn't be.
Are you saying they threw it?
No.
I'm just saying that, here's the thing. As a competitor, you're always going to be bummed that you lost. But then when you get on that plane and fly west, and then you get back to campus, you're like, what was I mad about?
Yeah, I actually knew a guy, though, that went to Pepperdine, and as great as it sounds, and look, there's not a college camp. If I could just, you can go anywhere you want to, I would have gone to Pepperdine, like just based on geography, because it's right up my alley, the views, the beach, everything. Like, it's perfect. But I know somebody who I went to high school with who was a year older than me, and I'm from East Texas, so a little bit different from Malibu. He went out there and was absolutely miserable because he wasn't rich, and he was out there because he was smart, and that didn't matter. It was the richest, rich kids, and they were just
that is where they filmed the 90210 college years.
Yeah, but he very quickly transferred back to like A&M after like a year out in Malibu. But yeah, it's beautiful out there, no doubt about it. So it's not a bad consolation prize to go back there. That's for sure.
All right, a couple of other notes, and then we break. We come back. Text line open 254-339-1122. Baylor's Freddie Gillespie. Last night, 19 minutes in that game with Toronto. We had Blake Murphy, who covers them on yesterday. 9 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist. And there was a play in which there was a loose ball near the baseline. He runs, jumps almost like Maceo Teague did, jumps, throws it back in play, comes back on the fast break. He wasn't a part of the actual score, but it was another culture moment, so to speak, as far as hustling. This is interesting. The 2020 Hall of Fame inductees and presenters. This is the Basketball Hall of Fame. Kim Mulkey is going to be presented by Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, of course, posthumously is going to be presented by Michael Jordan. And others, like David Robinson, will present Tim Duncan. And Eddie Sutton will be presented, of course, same way, by John Calipari, Bill Self, and Sidney Moncrief. Rudy Tomjanovich by Calvin Murphy and Hakeem Olajuwon. So Michael Jordan will present Kim Mulkey also with Kobe Bryant at the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Davion Harmon of Oklahoma, pretty good player, averaged 13 points a game, has entered the transfer portal, according to ESPN's Jeff Borzello. Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman saying Chris Beard has released, granting early signees David Joplin and Tamar Bates release of their letters of intent. Was because he's got a bunch of new people.
Because he doesn't want them.
I
mean, he doesn't want them. He's getting his own players, and they're going to hit the transfer portal.
And look, if they didn't want to be there either, if they wanted to go play for a different coach or
even if they did, Paul.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
you wonder if that was they saw who was coming in and they realized, man, I'm not. And not that those guys are like just not good, but they got some alpha dogs coming in, and some of them are staying as well.
Well, yeah, but the staffs also come in and they can, in a roundabout way, tell you like, you're not in our plans, and it's probably in your best interest to move along. And so I'm sure there's some of that going on, and then some of it's like they don't see themselves fitting in or wanting to play for this particular coach. Maybe they want to go rejoin Shaka, So, but yeah, that's to be expected as they're shaking up that roster.
Craig will be at football practice later today, weather permitting, most likely in the indoor, I'm not sure. Eric Mateos, offensive line coach, and Matthew Powledge will be the coaches available, selected players available. Remember now, Saturday at 10:30, gates open at McLean Stadium. The gates are open. We'll be there. A lot of us will be there for that. The media and or the practice will begin about 11 o'clock, and then Dave Aranda will be available after the practice. That's coming up on Saturday. All right? Lots to get to. We have plenty of other guests to get to today. Hey, SMU head coach Sonny Dykes is going to be a part of our show tomorrow. The guest lineup now, Ronnie Blake, played at Baylor. He's a former high school star at Lufkin. He was a part of that early wave of Baylor in the 80s. Mickey Spagnola on the draft at 4:30. Craig's off the radar, 4:45. Levi Weaver on the Rangers at 5. Michael Woodson, men's tennis coach, on their match with Texas, but really about how good they are as well and why, at 5:30 today. And then Paul's 5 at 5:55. And thanks to Davion Mitchell, we'll probably re-rack that and play that sometime in the next hour or two. Cole is in the building. Jack McKenzie is in the building. And Armstrong Genius Sims is in the building as well. Paul, Catalina, Craig Smoak, and David Smoak. This is SicEm365 Radio. Pioneer Steel and Pipe. Yep, you know all about them. Metal buildings, metal roofing, pipe and steel, 1943. Family-owned steel distributor. Locations in Waco and Bryan, striving to be a local leader in great customer service and offering a large variety of metal products such as metal buildings, metal roofing, pipe, and many other types of structural steel. Some of the reviews when you go to Pioneer Steel and Pipe, for example, this one. Friendly staff, good customer service, and excellent quality products. Friendly people, good quality and great prices. Great place, great people. That's what you hear about Pioneer Steel and Pipe locations in Waco and also in Bryan. They're pleased to offer the best when it comes to metal buildings, and if you need someone to help you with whatever your project is, they can help you and also give you suggestions on contractors to make that a lot easier and more of a smooth situation for you. Pioneer Steel and Pipe since 1943. That's a long time to be in business, and they've done it and gotten better and better because of great product and customer service. Waco and Bryan, open Saturdays, 8 until noon.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed. Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
All right, here's the text line open to you. Any questions, go. 254-339-1122. Open up the phone lines. Davion Mitchell, honored today in Hinesville, Georgia, about 30 minutes outside of Savannah. I thought that was a cool story. His uncle walked into the barbershop, and they go, "Where's Davion?" Davion walks into the barbershop, and they all shut it down, man. They're ready to go and talk to the national champ. So, Jerome Tang, I want to go back over a couple of notes from what Davion Mitchell did during critical moments during the tournament. We all remember, you guys, Adam Flagler was struggling, and there was a concern about points off the bench, production off the bench, etc. And Coach Tang was riding Adam pretty good. Davion goes to Coach Tang and goes, "Coach, I got this." He's kind of like me, personality's similar, doesn't like to be called out too much. That doesn't mean he's not tough or resilient or can't take criticism or constructive. He just said, "Let me handle Adam." And we know how Adam Flagler was fantastic in the tournament. Then Matthew Meyer. Paul, I remember sending you a text. Man, he just doesn't look like engaged. Not that he wasn't trying. He just looked like he was frustrated. He really didn't have much. He wasn't doing much. And I remember it will be interesting to see what they get from him in the second half. And Davion Mitchell took control of Matthew Meyer at halftime and said, "Man, we need you." Like, no time to kind of sulk, or not saying he was pouting or whatever, but you know what, you get it. He was frustrated. I remember that. Remember, he got taken out of the game pretty quickly, and he kind of was, I get it, he's frustrated. So Davion handled that as well. That says quite a bit. And then also heard that on the defensive schemes, he would go to Coach Tang and go, "That's not going to work. This will work, this won't work." Not to say I know more than you, but we play the game, and I'm seeing the game, and I kind of know who we're playing. I think this might work better. That's unbelievable when you have that kind of leadership at the point guard position.
Well, and he's just he's a basketball scientist. I mean, that's what he sees it in that way. I compared him to Peyton Manning because you when you hear things about him, that was Peyton Manning stuff. Peyton Manning used to watch video of the way he did a handoff so that his shoulder motion was like he was giving a handoff. So people were more faked out when he was, doing a play action fake. Davion Mitchell watches those kind of things about himself. Where are my hands on the ball? What is this guy like? He studies his opponent. What does this guy do when he's off the dribble, or what does he do that? And yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that he probably just proved it so quickly that yes, look, this is what's working, here's what's not. Take the burden off the coaches, just do what he says.
I think that's just what great players do. I think that's what makes the difference between a guy with Davion's skill set who has a pretty good career and a guy with Davion's skill set who goes and leads a national title team. There's a lot of guys who are as good as him who just didn't put in the work, and as a result didn't reach the level he's already reached and the level he's going to reach here in the next couple months when he's a top 10 pick, and the level that, there's really no limit to after that. I mean, he could go off and win as many titles as possible. So, yeah, I think it just speaks to the work ethic, to the responsibility each player felt, and to the responsibility to keep their teammates in check. And I think that's good when you got a players team like that. The coaches got so much attention for how well they put together this roster and everything, but the players themselves still had to make it work. And holding each other accountable and doing those types of things, I mean, that's the culture you ask for, right? That's the culture that everybody tries to build, and they were able to build it. And it took some time, but you saw the payoff for it, and the payoff that's going to be coming for, probably a really long time, as long as they just keep doing things the right way.
I asked Jerome Tang, I said, okay, other than everything we might know, can you give me a couple of things behind the scene? And here's this, and all of it, I didn't know. I didn't know he's the one that approached Tang about Flagler. I didn't know he was the one that also at halftime at the Gonzaga game when Gonzaga had pulled it within 10. You never know what you might need, and Matthew took the charge and got more back in focus. I didn't know. It was great stuff. And then also the fact that when Jerome said this, it makes so much sense. In basketball, two people cannot have a bad practice, the head coach and the point guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
That's so simple, it makes incredible sense, but I'd never heard of that. I mean, maybe I had, I just hadn't thought much about it. That's true, though. I mean, that's the guy that runs it, and that's the guy that runs it on the floor, right? He was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So good luck to him, and they're going to have that parade that starts in about an hour and a half.
I hope people do realize how unlikely it is or how hard it is to go from a guy who is a very average shooter to a guy who was nails in an off season.
Yeah, I think when he used to take shots the first couple of years or so, I was like, maybe it goes in. And this year when he took shots, it was going in. If it didn't, you were more surprised. And then,
but he didn't have bad misses. It was, it wasn't, he didn't throw up clunkers. It was all good stuff. And just by example, think if Shaq O'Neal could have improved his free throws. Just done that.
Yeah, I'll never have full respect for Shaq for that very reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect the hell out of the guy. I think he's funny, great, all-timer, everything. But the fact that he just chose not to ever get better at that through a 20-year career, I don't know. It makes me sour on him a little bit. Not as a person or anything, just on his overall view of his game. It's like you could have been even better, and you just chose to be lazy.
He was completely indefensible in the league for the stretch of his prime, and the only defense was to foul him.
Right,
and it worked when they played teams that had equal talent. And had he been able to take that out of like, dear God, don't foul him either, it's going in. He'll go from scoring 30 to scoring 45 a night if they hack a Shaq. So, yeah.
Yeah, I used to not really enjoy watching the Lakers during his prime run just because of how dominant he was. It just wasn't fun to watch if you were the opposing team because he was just so good and big and unstoppable. It was frustrating, to watch your team go up against a Shaq, much less paired with Kobe and a cast of others. But, yeah, I mean, some people go into the gym and they shoot shots, but do they do it for 30 minutes 3 times a week, or do they do it every night till they're actually forced out, like Davion Mitchell apparently did and others did as well? And that's the thing, is he put in that time, so might have only been a year where that change came in, but 300-something days, 4 or 5 hours a day, he put in tens of thousands of hours in a year on that shot. And not only that, but, I mean, going down to the details of even how you grip the ball. Not everybody, I think, gets down to that level of detail, Some probably do. The great shooters probably do. It's kind of like a pitcher or a position player in baseball, especially an infielder, where they kind of teach you how to get your fingers on the seams to throw it, right, in your glove. Like when you scoop it up on a ground ball, like how to flick it in your hand real quick to get it the seams where you want. So same kind of concept of just knowing where his hands best fit on the ball to make the best shot, and that takes a lot of work. So, yeah, I mean, he's got everything coming his way due to hard work, and he earned it.
He took over the tournament early on in the second half against Villanova. Mm-hmm. They were down 7 against a great tradition-rich 2-time national champion the last 4 years, and I was there, and you who were watching on television, it was a struggle. And then he took over the game. Not that others didn't either, but Baylor's defense went up notches that didn't exist. And he was at the front of it.
He can individually break a team spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, but it helps when you have all the other talent that Baylor had around them. I mean, whether it was him or Jared Butler or whatever, but because of his defense and the fact that it never stops from the minute he hits the floor, he can break a team spirit because he's going to be on your, if your best guard is your best scorer, then he's going to be on that guy. And you're going to get less than what you had. Off night, that's his name for a reason. He just broke people's spirit. Like, oh, well, as long as 40...
he broke Villanova, who breaks you, right? Yeah. He broke them. And they had 16 turnovers, and there's been a couple of games leading up to that. They had maybe 3 or 4. And they had 16. They had a bad turnover game Villanova did earlier in the year with somebody. But, I mean, he absolutely flipped the script on that. A couple of other notes. Cooper Lance from Geyer, 6A Defensive Player of the Year, signed with Baylor. He was named the NSCA All-American Strength Athlete of the Year in football. There's like about 15 guys around the country or so in football, and he was one of them. We have to, at some point, I want to talk about softball because there's something going on with Baylor softball. We have to show Luka Doncic and that crazy, stupid, nuts. How did he get it off shot to beat Memphis?
I could make that.
Did you see the shot, Armstrong? Craig, I know you did. Okay, we're going to have to find the shot. There's a shot.
It was a floater three. I mean, that's what he did. He hit a floater three to win the game.
Guys all around him. I mean, he had to go poof through a keyhole to get the shot off. Mm-hmm. And Cooperstein, Chuck, who's been on the show many times, he's like, he couldn't tell if it was a 2 or 3 because his foot, where it was so close to the line.
Well, he was leaning, like his whole body, when the shot was off, was over the line, at least his upper body.
Lucas said, in fact, well, it's kind of like, here we go. All right, watch him. It's kind of the motion of how he threw it up.
Yeah.
Can you show that one more time? Watch Luka come get the ball. It's an incredible shot. Here we go. Comes to get it. It was kind of like I don't know how he threw that up there. Were he left-handed, both-handed?
He says he practiced it. He practiced that shot. So that's not just him throwing that up randomly. He apparently has practiced, I mean, probably not exactly like that, but I guess like floating a three when you've only got, a couple seconds to get a shot off. And so, yeah, it was really impressive. It was a nice win for the Mavs. And, I'll bring it up later. But
here it is again.
Got to get it in. Here's Luka. Gets it away.
I mean, just nothing but the net. Yeah. Great stuff, Armstrong, Cole. Thank you. What were you were saying?
No, just it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing.
Yeah, they're trying to get out of that play-in game, right? They're trying to get to a point where they're not in the play-in game.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll bring that up later.
Everybody, Mark Cuban's already spoken up about it.
I'll bring it up later in the segment to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Rick Carlisle's quote after the game: "I cannot tell you how many thousands of dollars I've lost to him because of half-court shots. One time in Mexico City, I paid him off in pesos. I was so pissed." You ever want to bet from somebody, or somebody want to bet from you, and it might be, let's say it's $50 or $100, and you bring in pennies?
What? Well, that's the Lee Trevino story, right? Yeah. Lee Trevino lost a bet to a golf hustler, right? And paid him off in pennies?
Now, he may have, I don't remember. We had him on.
Some guy beat him, and he got mad, and he filled up the trunk of his car with pennies.
How heavy pennies are. Just like a crown bag, like a regular normal crown bag of pennies is like, if you drop it, you'd hurt somebody. Mm-hmm. The Big 12 today announcing that Baylor softball, their games against Oklahoma State and Oklahoma have been adjusted. Saturday, they play at Oklahoma State, doubleheader. Wednesday's game against Oklahoma has been moved to April 28th. The series against Oklahoma State, it says, has been moved to Saturday, the 17th and 18th. That's this weekend, right? Mm-hmm. It says March, though, here on this schedule. So they're going to play a doubleheader Saturday at Oklahoma State, and then they're going to play on Saturday, 1 o'clock, then on Sunday, and then they play Oklahoma at home.
They had their COVID scare, or COVID problems. They had to shut down for a couple weeks, and then today, they were supposed to play and got rained out.
Paul Jobson, soccer. Texas Tech scheduled for Saturday afternoon canceled. Due to limited player availability because of injury, the two teams have decided to cancel this weekend's match. We now turn our attention, getting everyone healthy, compete at a high level. Now, I can't tell by that if due to limited player availability because of injury, the two teams have decided to cancel this weekend's match. Is that a Baylor or Texas Tech?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
You'll probably never know.
So Baylor had media availability today. I'm not sure exactly what Paul might have said right there. Now, our good friend John Gallagher. We've discussed this story where they are losing millions of dollars. Scott Van Pelt last night did a commentary about Hartford athletics and college athletics and said he understands there's money involved and it's a business, but he was trying to discuss our great friend John Gallagher, who joined us for like 5 times. Do you understand that when they won their conference tournament to get to the NCAA tournament and eventually lose to the national champion, his phone blew up like you would think. Hundreds of calls, texts. He knows a lot of guys at Bristol. He mentioned that to us, obviously Van Pelt. Do you know someone that never once said a word to him or texted him or congratulated him?
I'm guessing the school president or AD.
The school president.
Yeah.
Not once. Never, not. Because the athletics, I don't know the guy, but it sounds as if maybe Oh, my God, we got to go spend money to go to
he's one of those.
Indianapolis.
Doesn't believe in the athletics as the front porch of university.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got to pay the bills.
You got to pay the bills. I get it.
But the neighborhood, which John Gallagher preaches, one of our favorite guests ever, and we had him on numerous times. He became as much a Baylor fan as you did. And he's fighting for his basketball team in the athletic department. They're trying to go Division III. It costs money to play athletics no matter what division you're in, whether it's NCAA, NAIA, junior college. There are money, there's expenses. So I'm not sure what happens.
Division III, they won't have to pay for anybody to go to school anymore.
Well,
I mean, that's what I was saying yesterday is that, everybody's talking about pay the players. Okay, that's fine, but don't turn around and then bitch when there's a lot of girls who don't have opportunities or guys who don't have opportunities in other sports that don't make revenues because you so badly wanted to make it a certain way that it's going to cost a lot of other athletes. And there's not going to be as many teams at schools like Baylor or Texas. Or, maybe a Texas can just float everything because the money never runs out, but like soccer programs, swimming programs, wrestling, a lot of the fringe stuff, a lot of that's going to go away because they're going to now, and now granted, the pay the players isn't, to be very clear, coming directly out of the school's pockets. Like this is their own sponsorship opportunities and things like that. But there are a lot of people that look at it as just a wider, just pay the players. The schools make all this money, pay the players. But clearly the schools don't have enough money, even with what they do make, to float a lot of the other stuff. And so, yes, Hartford can go make an NCAA tournament and have this great story and then turn around and basically cancel the basketball program, So that's what I worry about moving forward is just, yeah, I get why it's right to do, something about players' name, image, and likeness. And I agree with that. And I think that the NCAA completely missed the boat and just thought that it was going to magically go away if they just didn't pay attention to it. But instead, it just built up against them for 3 or 4 years to the point of where they have no excuses now and just look as foolish as ever. But yeah, it's gonna be costly in some cases, in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe there's some grand way of doing it, but the only way I see of doing it is this complete break off of Division I, and the schools who can afford to do certain things are going to be with the other schools who can afford to do certain things. And college sports, kind of being this 4-level thing, I think it's going to be like a semi-pro college league, and then it's going to be college athletics, but it's going to be a lot of the schools that don't bring eyeballs.
Well, and look, you mentioned Texas, and that's a school that has endless amounts of money. And 2 athletic directors ago, they had a guy who wasn't willing to spend money on non-revenue sports. In fact, trying to divert money that had already been donated for certain things because he knew he wasn't going to get it back. Mm-hmm. And he saw those as sunk costs. And that and his ego cost him his job. But, all it's going to take is more ADs to take up that, or schools to take up his way of thinking, which isn't a good way of thinking. It's a bad way of thinking, to take up that bad way of thinking and go, all right, well, then you're all we have to do is create the same opportunity for both genders, correct, of men and women. So both men and women have to have Title IX. Well, okay, we have 175 scholarships available for each side. We'll have 5 sports.
Yeah, and bye, boys soccer.
See ya.
You're out the door. Sorry.
And that means women's sports would go too.
Absolutely. And so, Title IX, there's a reason for it. The name, image, likeness, there's a reason for it. But I think there's these offshoot things that could occur. That's what I worry about, of just it taking college sports and completely fracturing it to a point where it's not nearly as recognizable. But, we've been trending in that direction for a long time now anyways. The has and the have-nots have never been farther apart, but I think you're going to see a lot of schools having to cancel programs and do things like that over the next couple of years. By the way, Valley Mills has a new head football coach, in case you were interested. Robert Featherston, Mount Vernon defensive coordinator, has been named the new head football coach at Valley Mills.
All right.
Per Matt Stepp.
All right. And of course, Mount Vernon was Art Briles, and now they promoted from within. Remember now, oh my goodness, Kyle Cooper from Gatesville, who was on that staff, is now, I believe, is it Ponder? No, it's not Ponder. He's got a job up in that area as well. He got a head coaching job there, and now that one there as well with Valley Mills.
Yeah, and one other note, and just talking about the NCAA and the pay-for-play thing, my biggest concern is just how incompetent the NCAA seems to be in managing all this. I just don't have any hope they're going to be able to wrap their hands around really any of the various problems that have been on their plate now for the last few years. But there is a note out of the NCAA today, And this will be very interesting starting, I don't know about right now. The one-time transfer rule is now official. It's complete, been voted on. So what this means is student athletes in any sport right now, starting right now, I guess, have one opportunity to transfer immediately, and they will be able to play right away, and no sitting out a year, nothing like that, and it's free for everybody. So anybody who wants to right now in college sports can just bolt to another school with no repercussions because that rule is now official.
So what happens, I know we got a break, Paul. Let's say you're playing at Oklahoma State. You can go anywhere you want once, and you go from Oklahoma State and you end up going to Missouri. What if you want to leave again? What's the consequence?
Welcome to Kilgore Junior College.
Yeah. And you hope that everyone understands it. It's like a lot of things that you want, and you want the government to do for you, or you want others to do for you, but then there has to be some sort of, okay, you can't do that again. And you watch, there'll be some arguments. No, they should be able to leave all the time, anytime they want.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's what I see is that it's going to be no. Right. And it's not going to stop.
So at least it's concrete now. It's in writing.
And I know what you mean. It's like the pandemic payouts. It's like we're going to get those for a while, and those have been very helpful. I know for me, I've certainly appreciated them. But yeah, at some point, like those are going to have to end, and we're going to have to, everybody's going to have to fend for themselves, and that's life. But yeah, there will certainly be some people who, this isn't good enough, but it's better than what was out there.
When we come back, Ronnie Blake, former Baylor guard, we're running a little bit behind with him. Davion Mitchell opened up with us. We're going to replay that again if you didn't get to hear it. It's also up on all the Twitter and all the social and even online as well, and also SicEm365.com. Ronnie Blake, he played at Lufkin High School. Famous player there, but also at Baylor. And he's next on SicEm365 Radio. Don's Humidor, 48-foot walk-in humidor loaded up with some of the great cigars you'll ever want if you smoke cigars or need to buy one for somebody. I mentioned this story that at halftime, maybe even late, maybe at the end of halftime, early first half, John Maddox called me and said, hey, if you bring home this championship, I'm going to buy you the best, nice, finest cigars box that you want. It's like, well, I'm not going to make any buckets. I'm not playing defense, and I surely have no athletic ability. But by the way, John, these are the kind of cigars that I like. And then, of course, later on, he called me and said, anything you want, I'm buying you some cigars. Well, Macanudo, Ashton, H. Upman, Arturo Fuente, Cohiba, Padron, My Father. Those are some of the great brands of cigars. The Cuatro Nicaragua cigar. Ask Carol and ask you about that one, rated #1 in the world. And they have that cigar inside their 48-foot walk-in humidor. Plus, Vita Dreams, a CBD product that allows you, when you're ready to go to bed, not to toss and turn for too long and lose 30, 45 minutes or an hour or more of sleep. And on top of that, they have the best when it comes to fresh flavors, aromas of coffee beans. Don's Humidor and coffee beans, cigars, coffee beans, and CBD products, torch lighters, and humidors in the Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's Tasty Oak Smoked Barbecue.
Next in line.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play.
This 3 o'clock hour winding down. Ronnie Blake. Whenever I hear the name Ronnie Blake, the first thing I think about is Lufkin High School and what he was as a magician-type player. I think he was almost Kyler Murray before there was Kyler Murray, with kind of the athlete that he was, the big moments that he did, football, basketball, won a state championship in basketball. Former Baylor guard joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Ronnie, can you tell it, what game was it when you hit was it a half-court shot to get into the tournament, to semifinal? It was against Plano, but what was the moment? Do you remember?
Not against Plano. We were down at half and at TJC and came back and put a press on them and were able to just come back and beat them. But Madison, the semifinals game, that was not easy, but that was a 10-point win or 7-point win. We come back to get us to the final.
Ronnie, what's this run through the tournament been like for you as an alum, watching what Baylor did this year?
Man, it's like a dream. I can't explain it. It just makes you feel like, as a Baylor person, just excited to know that we are national champions. And it was just an experience to get to go to the parade and be a part of that and see all those wonderful players and coach. It was just exciting, man. I couldn't believe it.
There were so many players, Ronnie, that came back. I believe that Mack Rhodes said once it would be like 127. It ended up being nearly 135 or 40. When you first heard about the parade and then all of a sudden former players, whether they played for Coach Drew or not, were also invited back and almost said, no, we want you back. What was that like, and what about the exchanges with former players about coming to Waco?
Well, my group from 80 to 83 that I play with, we normally try to get to a game once a year, and we get together. But going back and seeing all these guys that was asked to come back that really played and got excited about being Baylor basketball players and playing for them, it was exciting to see them and was happy to get the invite to come.
Ronnie Blake with us on SicEm365 Radio, former Baylor guard, and we're discussing the week that's been ever since they beat Gonzaga for the national title.
Did you guys get to spend time with other teams too? Maybe guys that you didn't know just by watching, or that you got to meet, from different eras?
Well, there were two guys in particular that David Wesley and Mike Williams. I've heard a lot. Well, Wesley's there from Longview in our district, and I got to meet him and shake his hand. And Mike Williams, he knows a friend of mine, and I just got to take a picture with him. So that was nice. I known about those guys, but it was great to get an opportunity to meet them.
Well, the thing about David Wesley, that's another East Texas kid, right? A young man. He's not,
exactly.
From Longview, and of course you played and were at Lufkin as well. Now your career after high school, you were at Kilgore College. Did you play basketball or football or both there?
Well, I signed a national letter to play football for University of Texas at Arlington, and after we won state in basketball, they wouldn't release me from my scholarship. So I had to go to Kilgore for a year before I was able to get out. So I went to Kilgore Junior College that first year and then transferred to Baylor in 1980.
What brought you to Baylor?
Well, I knew Terry Teagle from high school, Jay Shakir, and Ozell Hall, those guys I played against. And when I got my visit, Tommy Newman and Roy Thomas got me to come up there to visit. The guys that were there were just wonderful guys. And they just made me feel at home, and I just felt like that was the place for me to go.
Roy Thomas is, we had him on right before the Final Four. He's from Kirbyville. He's the one that had a lot to do with, you mentioned you, but also with Terry Teagle. Do you remember much about Coach T?
Well, he was one of the reasons as a coach that I wanted to go, because he was so down to earth and made you feel comfortable talking to him. But after we got down to the final time, he left and got a head coaching job. So Tommy Newman came in and convinced me that I needed to come on, and I did.
How many times growing up were you told you weren't big enough to play sports?
Man, if I heard that one too many times, but I never believed that. Never at once did I believe that I was too small to do anything sports-wise.
5'6".
So,
5'6".
Yes, sir.
Yep, 5'6".
Yes,
and you could take over a football game, and you could take over a basketball game, and you did that many times. No question about it. Ronnie Blake, former Baylor guard, with us on SicEm365 Radio.
How many times in your life during a basketball game did somebody say, oh, look, this guy's 5'6", and then you just darted past them?
Well, I can give you a prime example. We were at U of H one year, and Coach stuck me in a game, and some of those guys thought I couldn't play, and after it was over, down there in Hopkins Pavilion, they were shocked to see a guy like me do the things that I was able to do. So I was happy about that.
Was there someone when you were growing up as a young man, that a high school kid or even younger, that you saw, that you said, hey, if he can do that, maybe was shorter, too small, whatever, that kind of inspired you?
Tiny Archibald,
yeah.
And that short guy that played for the Rockets, Murphy.
Calvin Murphy.
Calvin Murphy, yes, sir. And I said then, man, if those guys can get out there and do what they do. Tiny Archibald was outstanding, but Murphy he'll light up and fight it. So those two guys really inspired me to be able to play and go for what I did when I was in school.
Just being around a lot of the former players, we had was it Terry Teagle on that said that they were having conversations about how long it had been and how much they needed to do it again. Does the experience earlier this week for you mean trying to maybe connect more with some of your former teammates and other players from Baylor's past?
Man, we've been saying this for the last 3.5 years. We need to get together, and if we don't do anything but just visit and talk a while, but just get together once a year and just visit, because I'm 60 years old now. Mm-hmm. So, but we try to get, like I said, every year, meet at one of the games and fellowship with each other.
When you see where Baylor is now, we asked Terry Teagle this question, Ronnie, and you played during that same time. I asked him, it might have been Paul or Craig, about when he got back into Waco, how much it's changed, the energy, the buildings. There's a lot of growth, as you know, so much construction. You'd been back a couple of times, but can you imagine the change in what Waco's now looks like compared to when you were there?
I think it was 9,000 students, and I could be wrong, but it was a small place. But I went back for a reunion in my 10th year, and I couldn't believe it. And we, like I said, we get together, and I go back now, and it just overwhelms me, all the buildings and the places you can't drive down to. It's just the atmosphere. It's just great. It's just great.
What about the facilities of what you see on campus? And you know that they're looking at some point in the next maybe year or so launching a new arena somewhere. But with what you see now up and down University Parks, plus the football stadium and all the other facilities, you'd seen a little bit of that, but how can you explain that as an ex-student athlete at Baylor?
Somebody loves Baylor University. Hey man, I just, we got some wonderful alumni people, good Christian people that's willing to give back, and I think it's just a lot of the people that's got Baylor where it is now.
When you watch the team play, the ones that just won the national title a week ago, Monday, the guard play, obviously with what they do inside, Vital Thamba and also Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua, what do you see, Ronnie, when you watch that team mow right through the tournament?
Hey, man, I was amazed that those guys played as tough as they did together. You could not get by them without somebody else on you. And I was talking to Terry, and he said 3 of those guys are already NBA material that he knows of, that's ready to go. So I have to agree with him, but it's just that closeness that they were talking about at the parade and the willingness to not be all about one person, but about the team. That's really what inspired me about seeing those guys play.
Ronnie Blake, SicEm365 Radio. So how much how much Baylor, T-shirts or stuff do you still have, or did you grab a bunch before you headed back home?
No. Hey, man, I had my time at Baylor. I got my hat that I wear. I got my sweat tops that I always wear. But I'm those guys did a great job. I'm happy for them, but I know that Baylor's in my heart, and when I'm out, I try to really support them with what I got. But it's good.
You mentioned now you're kind of retired, although you're still doing some things with Legacy High School in Tyler. Craig, who's a part of the show, went to what was then called Robert E. Lee, as did Jennifer, his sister. So you've been working there. You're still doing a little bit of work with track and field, or what?
No, sir. I'm a tennis guy through and through. I give lessons. I help with the middle. We got a nice middle school program here at Legacy that we bring our middle school kids over, and I help the head coach Charlie Sizemore do his JV and his varsity teams for a little bit.
Ronnie,
that's what I do.
Thank you for being a part of the show. I hope. How can you try to sum up the last few days, being a former Baylor player and also watching what they did, and also the parade on Tuesday?
Hey man, like I said, I'm so excited to know that we are national champions, and nobody can take that from Baylor University. And it was just unreal to be there in that atmosphere and just see the excitement and see those guys and Coach Drew, do what they did and were nice about it. I mean, mean, but they were nice about and sharing the experience with us.
Ronnie, thank you. Great to see you. Great to have you on the show. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Man, you're more than welcome.
Ronnie Blake. Yes, sir. Former Baylor guard. Man, that group had as much fun, I think, as anybody. Ronnie Blake, former Lufkin High School star and also Baylor guard as well, on SicEm365 Radio. Back in a moment.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day. Payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Teague with Grimes on him. Now here's Mitchell. That matchup, Sasser defensively. And Mitchell hits a three as well.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
WNBA draft is tonight. Both Dee Dee Richards and Dejanay Carrington expected to be drafted from Baylor, whenever it might be. I see where Dejanay, of course, there's 13 or 14 teams sometime. The Dallas Wings, Paul, you're the one that kind of gave me this note. The Dallas Wings have like the first and second pick in the draft, and I think they have like 4 of the 13 first-round picks.
They have most of the first-round picks. I didn't give you that note, but I knew
they get that? I mean, were the trades they made with like the LA Sparks, the Phoenix Mercury?
I'm sure they're like the Dolphins of the WNBA. We're just moving stuff around.
Has the WNBA ever had one team have that many picks in the first round?
I don't know. See, you guys try to paint me in this corner, but I'm not the only person who doesn't watch the WNBA. They have a whole controversy brewing because a ton of people don't watch the WNBA.
I don't watch it either. I don't watch much
people
of it. I don't watch much of it all.
Only one group of people gets blamed for not watching it. But
what do you mean?
Men are the only one people get blamed for not watching the WNBA.
Yeah, when you hear that, then you hear the word it's sexist. It's not fair.
And somebody's going to come at me. I hope that
get better.
I hope that that women's sports get bigger. It's good. It's only good for everyone involved in sports if all sports grow. But you can't just ask one group to do something about it.
I agree. Well, I mean, you had a guy that had really cared, and Draymond Green, who really was trying to give them some advice, and then everyone starts pointing the finger at him. He was actually trying to help them.
Yeah.
He was trying to help them with advice about business and revenue and a lot of that as well. So those two should be drafted, you would think, tonight with both Dejounte Carrington and DeDe Richards. Still nothing, at least that I can tell, just kind of digging around a little bit, there's still nothing that is up with Moon Ursin yet. Whether she comes back or not. I know she wants to go into nursing school somewhere. I would think right now I would say that the meter may be more towards her coming back.
Okay.
Because she's not going to be drafted. I'm not sure she'll get many opportunities in the WNBA or any professional basketball. But she seems to be like a fit. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything official on that or not. But I've asked Kyle Robarts, and even a couple of times I've asked when Kim's been available and still nothing back. That'd be a nice little shot in the arm to get her back for another year. And then Sarah Andrews, another year older. So, but nothing new on that as well. I saw this note on LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too.
Oh, at 4:45? All right, well, we'll wait on that then. Okay, we'll do that today at 4:45 with Craig's Off the Radar. All right, now, Baylor football spring drills. They have the open practice Saturday, spring game between now a week from Saturday. If you were to sit there and try to put it in a bow, we were able to go to the open practice on Saturday as well. Armstrong was there, so was Craig, Brian, and was there as well. How would you describe anything other than the fact in my opinion, the most important thing is they're practicing and we can watch part of it. That they're practicing more than us watching it. They're actually being able to practice, which they didn't get to do a year ago.
How would I describe it?
Yeah, I mean, is that the most important thing that you could see? Or, I mean, isn't that it?
Well, look, spring football, I think it's important for people to temper expectations of spring football. At the bare minimum, what you want to see is, are they stronger? Are they faster? Are they healthy? Do they look like they're getting it? Because all we know now is that they practice well against Baylor. Okay, well, that doesn't matter it's not going to matter much when it comes down to playing somebody else. Like, how do they do against other teams? But are they practicing well? Do they look stronger and faster, especially the big guys up front? Do they look better there? Then be optimistic. Don't get lost in the weeds over, I want this guy to be the quarterback, or this guy should be the quarterback, or I want this guy to start here or start there. The best players will start. They give them the chance to win. That's what's going to be. Unburden your mind. Just build it that way.
Yeah, I mean, they're just out there getting better. Like, I mean, it's practice. That's what you practice for, and it's just an opportunity to see how different guys look and see a little bit of how these coaches coach. I mean, really, it's just an opportunity to kind of look in the window a little bit. It is really what it is. I mean, for the team though, it's just getting better. I mean, there's no awards won. In spring football, there's no conference championships won, but in a roundabout way that there are, because this is sort of where you lay the groundwork for, when you pick the ball back up later on this summer and transition into, the lead up into the season. But I mean, to describe spring football, they're out there getting better. I don't really know how else to say it. I don't know how else to describe it.
We don't know if the offensive line is better. Eric Mateos wants to kind of help.
Well, there's no way they're worse.
But there's no way you're exactly right.
Because they actually had runs that went past 2 yards last week on multiple occasions, which we saw maybe like 3 times last year. And I know I'm not being totally accurate there, but that's what it felt like. This team hasn't been able to run the football efficiently in every game since 2015 probably. 2016, actually, they were able to run still. But, I mean, since then, it's been hit or miss. Some games, like Ebner's running wild and Lovett's going off for, a long run. But outside of that, I mean, 8 times out of 10, they're not running the ball well. And so, that's obviously got to be a major focus for this team.
They need
how many
5
times in the last 4 years? 16, of course, was the last year, the original kind of group. 17, 18, 19, 20. How many times on 3rd and 2 did you know they were going to get the first down?
Never. I was asked the question the other way. How many times did I know they weren't? Every time. Every time I knew they weren't going to get the first down.
They need what I think will be a bigger play because, look, we've seen plenty of big plays from this audience, of this team. What the fans you really want to see, and I know maybe you don't realize this yet, you want to see 11 5-yard runs in a game. They want to see 11 5-yard runs. They want to see like 8 3-yard runs.
Yeah, because the once you bust one for 80 is fantastic. It's a highlight, whatever. But sometimes that's because the defense did something wrong, too.
I want to see 11, it's 1st and 10. Ebner off the right side, he got 5 yards. It's 2nd and 5. That's all I want to see. I'm not thinking that it's going to be some Earl Campbellian effort a Campbell-esque effort to where people are just getting knocked over left and right because they can't tackle a dude. No, I want to see it just a 5-yard run. And then, like on 2nd and 3, just a little toss outside and they get 4 yards, and it's 1st and 10. And you don't have to wonder, what play are they going to draw up on 3rd and 4 that's possibly going to get them 4 whole yards?
I've never seen a team, and I probably have, but I've never seen a team that is in 3rd and 3 and 4 more often than this football team. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always 3rd and something. It's never like a first down on first down. It's never a first down. It's always like 3 yards and then like 5 yards and it's 3rd and 2, and then stuffed at the line, and now it's 4th and. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it was over and over again.
It is like trying to crawl on broken glass.
Yeah, I mean it takes forever to put a drive together.
What was more frustrating, that you knew that they couldn't pick up 3rd and 2, or the fact that if they picked up 8, it would still end up 3rd and 9? You know what I mean?
They're equal.
They get 8 yards on first down, and they always followed up with a false start.
Yeah.
And I say that we're being really, really critical here, but it's kind of like what you expected, I think, after 2 years ago they were in the Sugar Bowl.
But it's true that offense was horrendous last year. That offense was atrocious. Yeah. That was embarrassing what they rolled out there because it never got any better. It never got better from the first game to the last game. Were they all that better offensively?
No,
they still didn't know what they looked like. They know what they were doing, and it was the last game of the year, so. You can point a lot of places. I mean, we've talked about Charlie, like where was his head? Where was Fedor? All the offseason and how weird that was. So I'm not singling anybody out or anything like that. I have faith just from watching on Saturday. If you show up on Saturday, you'll see an offense that actually looks like they know what they're doing. That's my big takeaway from spring football. The offense looks like they actually know what they're doing on offense, which they didn't look like that at times last year.
It did look sometimes like they just picked some stuff up that week.
Yeah.
Like that was okay for this week. And
not because they were added to the playbook. It's because
this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And and one of the things that Larry Fedora might have been better off doing, and I've seen high school coaches do this over many, many years. Smokey, you guys have both seen this, where you come in, you start putting in your system, and then it hits you that like, nope. So then you just go back and you say, we're going to run last year's system. I may not know it as well. I have a better chance of learning it than the players, have of learning mine. So I'll learn the old offensive system, and we'll do that for now. And then when I have what I really need, then I'll put mine in.
Aranda has admitted that last year, besides all the other stuff he had to deal with, one of the things that he struggled with was telling people what to do. Not suggesting or schemes as a coordinator, but being able to say, giving people room to be a coach or a player, but him saying, no, this is, and not till the end, and even they got blown out by Oklahoma State 42-3, this is what I like. It was like hard for him and his ego, because he doesn't seem to have, he's got an ego, everyone does, but it was hard for him to say, this is what we're going to do.
I totally relate to that. I have a hard time asking anybody for anything, quite frankly. it makes me uncomfortable to ask people for stuff, and that's a weird personality flaw, but it's just one I've always had. Why don't you ask somebody? I don't. That's dumb, I know, but that's just, some people are built that way, and so I totally understand that from Aranda. But yeah, that's something that you have to, in this situation in particular, break yourself out of if you want to change things. And I think it's great that he's able to look in the mirror this offseason and go, okay, where can I get better? Not where can my running backs or my O-line or my wide receivers coach get better, but where can I get better? And so that's great because the players look better. The strength and conditioning seems that it's made a major change. We've referenced that a lot. The new coaches seem to be fitting in very nicely. There's already more of a camaraderie felt than we felt at any time last year. And granted, we're up closer, but still, that didn't seem like it really gelled last year.
Yeah. And then we learned that there was a little bit of not a lot of give and take. There was a lot of I want this. There was not a great chemistry among some.
Right. And so for Aranda to go, well, for all these things to happen that we need to happen, I also too have to change a little bit. That's what you want. That's the thing is everybody was so quick to make a judgment on Matt Rule in year one and not give him any time, and then making a judgment on Aranda last year and not give. He's brand new. He's brand new, and he's walking into a pandemic season. So I have faith that he knows what he's doing. He wouldn't be here if he didn't.
You knew who wasn't a great head coach in his first head coaching gig? Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He had to learn. So you have to learn. And I'm sure it's just part of his trial and error. And, John McClain told us one time, he said, the best coaching staff improvement you make is from year one to year two. Because year one,
it's not your first staff you hire; it's the second one. Yeah. It's how you react to it.
Year one, you think you know what you want. Year two, then this is what I want. And so, if you already had that in year one, then you're a lucky guy. You hit it out of the park. In year two, and sometimes it has nothing to do with the coach you hired. It just wasn't. Some people aren't fits in their accounting firm. They go to a different accounting firm and they're great accountants. It's that way in life. And Dave Aranda, let's give him some room to find himself as a head coach. And had people not given Scott Drew room to find himself as a head coach, they might not be polishing a couple trophies right now.
I know of people who wanted him gone like 3 years ago. Yeah. And I wonder what they're saying now, but I absolutely heard people saying that.
Yeah.
They'll pretend like they never did it.
Oh, yeah, of course. They were always a believer in all of that because that's what people do.
It's about time.
Yeah, it should have happened 4 years, whatever. But, I think Aranda's made some good adjustments, and I think now, it's all about the football. And there's no excuses. Like there's no, hey, we didn't have and not that they were using them as excuses, but there is an off season. There has been changes in the coaching staff. You've had time around this staff to get to know each other. So if it doesn't work for one reason or another, strength and conditioning, all that seems to be working. But if it doesn't, then that's all just on Aranda, and it's got to work. So it looks good right now. We'll see what happens.
By the way, I wanted to clarify on that soccer story, women's soccer or Baylor soccer. They're done. They finished the season. It's kind of an extension from last year, 5-5-3, so they're done. Now they compete and start to get ready for whatever they do during the fall, which is, of course, the seasons have been in some cases flipped around a little bit. So volleyball won 3-2. Men's tennis against Texas starts at 6. Haven't heard yet whether it's indoor or out. You know where it is. The tennis center, which is indoors, is Allison, right? And then the Hurd Tennis Center, which is on the outside in between all those beautiful facilities they have. When we come back, Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. We'll also today hear from Levi Weaver. He covers the Rangers. They're 5-7, but they've won a couple of games. Tampa's struggling a little bit. Levi Weaver will join us here momentarily at 5 o'clock. We'll re-rack the Davion Mitchell interview at some point as well. And Craig's Off the Radar coming up in about 15 minutes. And my conversation with, in fact, Baylor men's tennis coach Michael Woodson as well. This is SicEm365 Radio. Cat skin leather. Well, how much would you like to really make your car or truck or SUV look even nicer than it does? Cat Skin is the leader of leather replacement seats. It's the leader brand for leather replacement seats. Pickup Outfitters is a Cat Skin leather authorized dealer and preferred installer. You can remove old cloth from your seats, replace it with luxurious custom leather. Customization options are endless, including colors you want, the stitching you want, and then also let Pickup Outfitters do their magic once you pick all that out. And in fact, on their website, createacommotion.com, there's a video, really neat, cool video of the process itself and how they do it. It's like they shed the seats of whatever covers them now, and here comes the catskin leather colors and stitching as well. Works great on trucks and cars. And also, we know that Pickup Outfitters also has accessories, whether it's bumpers or grill guards and much more for your truck and or your SUV and even minivan. Catskin leather replacement kits available for cars and trucks. Customer options, leather seats, factory matching leather kits. Pickup Outfitters, your catskin leather dealer, 220 Lake Air Drive, createacommotion.com.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to treat kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
And Prescott on the keeper, walks in, touchdown, Dallas.
It's time for our weekly segment with Mickey Spagnola of DallasCowboys.com. Brought to you by the First National Bank of Central Texas, with 5 locations to serve you.
All right. We'll hear from Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Cowboys and the rest of the NFL. This would be what, day 2 in 2 weeks of the draft, of the 3-day NFL draft, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in 2 weeks. Last night would have been round, 1, and then eventually you re-rack and you keep going. We'll talk to Mickey here momentarily, and now Mickey Spagnola joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Mickey, maybe it's me not paying as much attention as I would normally leading up to the draft. I don't know if that's the case because I still have watched and read and all that, but it seemed like it's all of a sudden just snuck up on us. Is that the way it feels to you?
No, it feels like it's been coming forever and it can't get here fast enough. It's just, when you finish 6-10 and you're out of the playoffs and you got so many things to take care of, you start, kind of dissecting things the 1st of January or whenever the last game was. So it seems like, it's only been 3.5 months, but it feels like 4, 5, 6 months that we've been talking about this draft and what the Cowboys are going to do and what the other 9 teams ahead of them are going to do in this draft.
Mickey, I'm asking a lot of people this question because I'm curious their response. So at 9, a quarterback, there's 4 quarterbacks gone. The 9th team doesn't take a quarterback. And one of those, that 5th quarterback is still sitting out there. Do the Cowboys trade back or do they stay put?
It minds how much somebody wants to give it to them. Yeah, I think if it's the price you pay for a quarterback, meaning there's a first rounder involved somewhere, not just your pick this year, but maybe next year and at least the second. If I'm not dropping back more than 2-3 spots, I'd have to seriously consider it. Yes, absolutely. And I think, Paul, that 10th spot, some pretty high real estate, because just as you said, there might be a team or two, by the way, that's interested in a quarterback. Somebody might be interested in one of those offensive tackles if they should slide, or one of the wide receivers if they should slide, or what if the tight end Pitts slides and somebody just has to have them. I think the Cowboys can hold them ransom and say, okay, I got to have this to give up my 10th pick. But if you do it, you got to do it knowing that there's about 3 guys on the board. Well, first of all, you got to know what that team's taken, right? And then you got to figure I got 3 guys on the board that I'd be happy with either one of them if they landed in my lap by trading down.
Mickey, as far as, if the draft kind of falls the way it's expected to and they're sitting there with what's expected to be sitting there, I know Patrick Surtain's been the name, talked about really heavily, but is there a couple of other names who have sort of entered that picture as far as the most talked about guys outside of Surtain?
Well, to me, it should be the best defensive player available, and it might be the first defensive player that you can take, because as we just discussed, is if 4 or 5 quarterbacks are taken in the top 9, 2 offensive linemen, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end, that's 10. So if no defensive player goes, and I think the soonest one would go at 9, you should have your pick. I think J.C. Horn, a lot of people are high on him, the cornerback from Florida. He had a heck of a pro day workout. And then I think I mentioned last week the linebackers, Micah Parsons, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. The Cowboys could use a linebacker, and it can use a really good, versatile one too, by the way. And I think what everybody needs to remember, and I understand talent, right? That you don't want to, pick away from the most talented guys to get something of need. But while cornerback's a need, to me, linebacker's a need too. Remember, this team gave up 158.8 yards a game rushing. That's not a cornerback. That's your front 7. And the unfortunate thing is there's no defensive tackle probably worth taking higher than, maybe 15, unless somebody thinks Christian Barmore, you just can't pass him up in the top 10. So there's a couple linebackers that I think they have to vet and think seriously about, because it seems like the depth of this draft might be at cornerback. I saw one person that like a top 61, they had 11 corners ranked in the top 61 and 5 of those in the top 42. And I think it was Charlie Casserly had a first round mock and had 4 or 5 corners going in the first round. So you might be able to get one later. And so then you got to decide, is the corner I'm taking now better than the linebacker than I can, that much better than a linebacker I can get later, or vice versa. But I think linebacker has to be high on the Cowboys list.
Mickey, you mentioned Parsons, you mentioned Horn, you mentioned the kid from Notre Dame, and you mentioned 3 football factory type programs, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Florida. And that's kind of been their MO, their philosophy on drafting from big, large football factory schools. Is that still the case?
Yeah, and I think maybe that's just the way it, kind of panned out. They're big on taking guys from Boise State, too, by the way.
Sure.
I don't know if you count them as a factory.
All 25 of them, it seemed like. Yeah.
It's like they could have an alumni association here. But, I think that's kind of been general way they've gone of late. From the bigger schools. But again, some of the bigger schools didn't play very much football last year. If you look at what happened in the Big Ten, what did those teams play? Six games, maybe? 7 at the most if it's a bowl game. There's a lot of factors going into this draft, you guys, that they haven't had to deal with previously. No combine. You didn't get to have scouts at practices during the season. You had almost no in-person one-on-one interviews with the players. And as Will McClay, the Cowboys vice president of pro personnel, told me, the key thing in a draft is evaluating people. This is about people, and we haven't really had a chance that much to do the normal research we do on what kind of person is this guy. So they've had to, kind of change their tactics a little bit to get some of that inside information on, just who these guys are. So, I don't know if big school will prevail. I think it might come down to, which player do you know the most about and feel comfortable with no matter where they're from.
Mickey Spagnola with us on Thursdays, SicEm365 Radio.
Mickey, how much do you expect because they're all one-year deals, but the Keanu Neal, DeMonte KZ, and all that to affect how aggressive they get with certain positions with those guys?
I don't think you can count on, it's like, oh, well, this guy's going to really play well, this year, and we're going to try and re-sign him next year. I don't think you can look at it this way. I think you have to look at it. It's a one-year deal. And this draft is not just about 2021. It's about 22, 23, and 24. I don't think you can say, well, you know what, I signed all these safeties, and now I don't need one. Well, there's nothing wrong with taking one, maybe not the first day, but the second day. The same thing with offensive tackle. You may not need a starter this year, and I'm assuming because they restructured the contracts of Tyron Smith and La'el Collins that they feel pretty good about those guys returning from the injuries and the surgeries they had last year, that you don't need a walk-in offensive tackle. But 3rd, 4th round, why not? One of the problems this team has had is the backup swing tackle. And I know they signed the guy, but it's a one-year deal, right? What if I get a young guy that could step in and be my backup swing tackle, maybe help me at guard, and in 2 or 3 years he's ready to start? I got no problem spending a 3rd round pick on that, especially, as I said, the problems they've had trying to find that backup tackle when last year they had to rely on 2 guys to start the majority of the games at tackle, and only one of them had played 2 games in the NFL previously.
Mickey, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you. Mickey Spagnola with us on Thursdays around 4:30 in the draft. Now 2 weeks away from today would be round, 2 and 3 of the NFL draft. When we come back, Craig Smoak off the radar at 5:30. men's tennis coach Michael Woodson will join us at 5 o'clock. Levi Weaver of theathletic.com on the on the Rangers. And then also we're going to re-rack Davion Mitchell, who started off the show with us today, right off the top. It's a parade day for him and much more in Hinesville, Georgia. This is SicEm365 Radio.
22-year anniversary sales event continues at Richard Carr Motors with big anniversary savings on all new or pre-owned cars and trucks on the lot. You can get 3 big rows of first-class seating, power, technology, safety, and a superior ride with the Buick Enclave. During the Richard Carr anniversary sales event, save $8,500 on a Buick Enclave. We've also got the power and luxury combined in the GMC Sierra truck that's second to none. You can save $8,000 on a 2021 GMC Sierra, or save $7,000 off a 2021 GMC Acadia, or $6,750 off GMC Terrains. And Richard Carr Motors is your local family dealer and proud Baylor Bears that want to earn your business with great prices, free oil changes with a new purchase, and priority warranty service on all vehicles purchased. So come by their clean and disinfected showroom to take a test drive, or let them bring the test drive to you. It's a big 22-year anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Carr, and Richard Carr Motors says Sic'em Bears, and congratulations to the national champion Baylor Bears.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Don's Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don's Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new Lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Purdy over the middle and intercepted. Tejada down the sideline and pushed out of bounds.
The 5 o'clock hour is brought to you by Edward Jones and financial advisor Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. This 4 o'clock hour, time for Off the Radar with Craig Smoak.
It's time for Craig Smoak's Off the Radar.
All right, taking a look at some of the stories that maybe we haven't had a lot of time to spend time on. Starting today and tomorrow to be Jackie Robinson honors all over Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson Day on Thursday and Friday. All players will take the field wearing the number 42, also have a patch on their hats and uniforms dedicated to the occasion. MLB will donate the royalties of all sales of the special apparel to the Jackie Robinson Foundation. And, there's also a big push for more black representation in baseball. We've talked about how, the youth leagues, that's not been a sport that's been very popular. And so there's a group of guys, Jason Hayward, David Price, Jackie Bradley Jr., over 100 players that are going to be donating their salaries to the organization to help out with, baseball and the black community. And I think it's a great thing they do every year.
I think it's great. And I hope that baseball gets, rejuvenated. Like Rejuvenated RBI League was a big part of, trying to get it going in because, and this is in the 90s, people saw the writing on the wall of baseball become very specialized, and there was 6 leagues a year kids were playing in, and select leagues, and those cost money. It wasn't the little league that you pay your one-time $75 to $150 fee based on what it was, and you're in the little league for the year. It was you're paying $500, $600, $1,000 to be in a league for part of the year, and then you're doing it again and again and again.
Parents feel very pressured to send their kids to all of the, whether it's soccer or volleyball or baseball or basketball, a lot of these camps or whatever. They're told, well, they're never going to be recruited. And more people are worried about during the 4 years of high school being recruited than enjoying the 4 years in high school.
Well, yeah, and I made
playing in all these leagues.
I made a comment on our Bearcast yesterday, and Grayson covers recruiting, so I wasn't directing it towards him in any way because it is the lifeblood. It is. You ask coaches, that's the difference in winning national championships ultimately is your talent level in college football. That's why it's the same teams every single year because it's the same teams that get the same high-rated players every single year. But I did make the comment to him about just, there's people that care more about recruiting than they do the actual results on the field, and, that's just crazy to me. It has its place. It has its importance. There's no doubt about it. But it's not the main thing of college football. You know what I mean? So anyways, Jackie Robinson Day going on here over the next couple of days. Dan Snyder and the Redskins, formerly known as the Redskins organization, off the field drama.
I'm always nervous when you say that.
What?
Well, just Dan Snyder and the Redskins, or Washington. I get nervous.
Yeah, well, owner Dan Snyder has filed a motion to depose former GM Bruce Allen. So this could get very interesting. There were a bunch of negative articles that came out about Daniel Snyder over time, quite frankly. And today, Snyder filed the motion that seeks to depose Allen. This was first reported by The Athletic. He's filed a libel suit in India after an Indian website in 2020 linked Snyder without any evidence to sex trafficking and convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Snyder also filed 8 legal proceedings related to that suit. Basically, the motion alleges that Allen has specific knowledge of how these articles came to be, as in he was the one that was going around and talking to people and spreading all of these things about Dan Snyder and trying to portray him a certain way. So now he's going to be deposed, and they're going to get down to the thick of things on who said what and kind of this whole drama behind the scenes in Washington.
Well, Dan Snyder's got enough lawsuits that have happened because he doesn't run the organization well. Maybe nothing he's personally done or said to anybody, but everything that was going on beneath him. I mean, there's tons of sexual harassment lawsuits among people who used to work there and things going on. And then as he was trying to figure out the sale of the team, all of a sudden all this stuff came out.
So what are they going to do? They're going to get Bruce Allen's text messages and
yes, actually,
I mean, they're subpoena everything.
The motion attempts to use phone records to link Allen to the articles,
especially if the phone belonged to the organization. Then they're going to be able to get him. And then if Bruce Allen was sending, "Hey, here's XYZ news organization. You want to know something about Dan Snyder? Look into this."
Right.
And
so we're going to see Bruce Allen potentially deposed and see what comes out from that, but there's
2 press conferences.
I think Bruce Allen wanted that. I think Bruce Allen was sending those out, begging that someone would catch him to be fired because they never let him. They never
2
fired
press
him.
conferences in 15 years, and now this.
Apparently he spent time on the phone with one of the minority owners who's an investment banker. Nearly 21 hours they spent on the phone between January and November. Now that's an entire year, but that's like an hour a month or 2 hours a month. You're talking to the minority owner, so. That's, those guys have been pushed out now, and Snyder's kind of got the free reign. But, just behind the scenes in Washington, it's interesting. And Bruce Allen was long a villain in Washington, and for some reason they could never get rid of him, and they finally did, and now he and Snyder are going to be going at it in court. So
he was awful.
Yeah, that's just kind of the way it works. Do you guys know much about the NBA playoffs and how they're doing this thing?
Yeah, they have this play-in tournament thing.
So
for the last 4 seeds in each conference, right?
So used to, you were 1 through 8, you made the playoffs.
Yeah, 8 would play 1.
But now if you're 7 or 8, there's no guarantee you still make the playoffs because teams with the 7th through the 10th highest winning percentages in each conference will then play each other to qualify for the 7th and 8th seeds. So as long as you're in that top 10, you could still somehow manage to be the 7th or 8th seed.
So the 10th and 9th seeds can get in instead of the 7th and 8th.
Yeah. The winner is a play-in tournament.
Why don't they just make it a wild card and they?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. And Luka Doncic just talked about it. Mark Cuban's talked about it. The owners unanimously voted for this last year.
Which means Mark Cuban did, right?
Yeah. So in the Mavericks case, right now they're a playoff team. Right now they are a playoff team. They're the number 7 seed. But they're not technically a playoff team because they're the 7th seed. They would have to play in a play-in game, even though they should have their playoff spot secured if they finish 7th. So they've got a 2.5 game lead over the Spurs, who are the 9th seed, and they'd basically be in right now. But instead, they now have to worry about playing another team to get into the playoffs.
Are 7 and 8 going to play, and the winner of that game will play the 9 and how does that work?
I would think 7 and 10 and 8 and 9 are going to
play and then move on.
I don't think that's how it works out. I don't think that is. I think I saw this the other day when I was reading the story from Cuban that Craig's referring to. I think for some reason that 7 and 8 will play. It's not the way you would think. If it is the way you both have said it, that makes sense out of nothing. But I don't think that's the way it works out.
Yeah, Doncic said, I don't understand the idea of the play-in tournament. You play 72 games to get into the playoffs, then you maybe lose 2 in a row and you're out of the playoffs. I don't see the point of that. Mark Cuban said, the worst part of this approach is that it doubles the stress of the compressed schedule. In hindsight, this approach was an enormous mistake. So the play-in tournament, so here's basically, I was trying to get at how it worked. The 7th place team will host the 8th place team in a 1-game matchup.
Right.
The winner of that game earns the 7th seed. The 9th hosts the 10th, and the winner of that game in a 1-game matchup is eliminated. The loser of the 7th versus 8th place game will then host the winner of the 9th versus 10th place game winner in a 1-game matchup, and the winner of that game earns the number 8 seed.
See, at least I could see 7 and 8. Well, first of all, they shouldn't have 9 and 10. But if 7 and 8, whoever wins that, you're locked in. But if you're going to have the 8 team, who, if they lose, play the 9 or 10, make it a best of 3.
Yeah.
Why even? Yeah.
It just seems very complicated, does it not?
No, it does.
I mean, it's not, but it just sounds, when you try to explain it, it sounds like it is.
What they needed to do is take like the last 6 teams or something, they all play, and they eventually the first and second seeds get a first-round bye. Do that. It would figure it out somewhere. I took tournament.
Yeah. I've always felt the NBA had too many teams in its playoffs anyway.
Yeah,
because
there's 30
more
teams, that's 20.
But I mean, 16, there's 16 out of more than 50% of the teams in the NBA make the playoffs.
Well, more than 50% of the NFL does too now, right? Because of how they're getting. Aren't they getting crazy?
Yeah. And I wasn't for that. I'd like just under. Like I like the 40% mark. Like 40% of teams make the playoffs, the other 60.
But not everybody then wins a ribbon.
Yeah, well, that's how they're going to do it. So 7-8, winner is the 7 seed. Loser goes and plays the winner of the 9th versus 10th seed, and then that's how they're going to do it. So there's the NBA playoffs and how they've decided to shake up the final couple of spots there. But that would suck. You get the 7th spot. You earn that. Like, what was the point of if you could finish 10th and be in the same spot?
Yeah, it's no different, I guess, than the baseball playoffs, isn't there?
There's a play-in game.
A play-in game in a way.
Yeah.
It's to get more people, and what it's all about, I believe, I could be wrong, is adding playoff teams means that fans of teams that aren't very good still have an interest down the stretch that otherwise would be eliminated, and sometimes on occasion you're going to have somebody get through and win it all.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe somebody gets hot and gets that 8 seed.
The Buccaneers were a wild card team, weren't they?
Yeah. But, I mean, anyways, that's how it's going to work this year. So there's going to be play-in games, and it's going to be a little bit different. NBA, LaMarcus Aldridge, former Texas Longhorn, longtime Spur as well. Been with the Nets most recently. Has announced his retirement today. Revealed he's been experiencing an irregular heartbeat, or was experiencing one on Saturday during their game, and said that he told the Nets what was going on. They sent him to the doctor on Sunday, said he's doing better, but one of the scariest things he'd ever experienced. So because of that and the rhythm getting worse, he's told the team that he got to the hospital, got checked out, and he's decided to just hang up the shoes after 15 years.
Hell of a player, Texas guy.
He's always put basketball on first, and now it's time to put his health and family first.
All right, good stuff. Is that it?
No, just going to mention that.
Good for him. He was a hell of a player at Texas. Not a great player. He's a good player, not a Hall of Famer.
I'm bummed for him that he never got to win a ring.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people don't.
But
yeah, he came in right at the end of the Spurs title.
They thought he was going to be this is the last guy that can push it. But
so happened. Great career for him. Was good, really good player, and he'll be hanging it up. And I'm sure he's going to be 35 and retired, so I'm sure he'll enjoy the rest of his life. Yeah. But I mean, that actually, I'll stop it there because it's 5. So
LaMarcus Aldridge didn't make Kawhi Leonard go crazy.
Adam Schefter reporting that the first U.S. sportsbook partnership, Caesars Entertainment, DraftKings, and FanDuel with the NFL. Those companies now are NFL's official sports betting partners, and money will be flowing into a league of billions.
Tony Romo couldn't have a fantasy football event.
That's exactly right. When we come
Pete
back,
Rose is banned from baseball. He bet on his team, I know.
We'll hear from Levi Weaver a little bit on the Rangers, just kind of check in with them, and then also our conversation with Davion Mitchell. Plus at 5:30, Baylor men's tennis coach Michael Woodson. They're hosting Texas tonight at 6 o'clock, and I just got word, Scotty B, because he is our guy, it's going to be indoors. It's going to be indoors. Paul, look at Armstrong. He's trying to get you to look at a text or something like that. So that Texas-Baylor tennis match, men's tennis match, is indoors. Michael Woodson, head coach, will join us today in an interview I had with him earlier today at 5:30. They're the number 2 ranked team in the country. Texas is ranked number 7. They have TCU, Baylor does, coming up next this weekend. This is SicEm365 Radio.
The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home. Waco, Woodward, Hewitt, China Spring, Mart, and Hillsboro. And look, if you are looking for a new bank or local, you need to go local. Tell you, I got this advice from the great Butch Henry many years ago because I was with a national bank and I had a problem with fraud. And it was a ridiculous thing that happened to me. And the company kept screwing up, and it took me about 20 phone calls to get thousands of dollars that was stolen from me back. And their fraud department said they investigated it when it was just rubber stamped. And I needed a local bank. Well, he sent me to the First National Bank of Central Texas, and it's the best decision I ever made. Familiar faces making local decisions, here to help you, your family, and your business. Whether it's great times or tough times, all of us need a bank we can count on. Great people, great technology dedicated to their customers and helping our area grow. Safe banking in person or using their online and mobile apps. Convenient drive-through and ATMs at all locations. The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online, pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T is board-certified physician consultations, will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Purdy over the middle. And intercepted. Tejada down the sideline. And pushed out of bounds.
The 5 o'clock hour is brought to you by Edward Jones and financial advisor Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now, here's David Smoak and Craig Smoak.
And Paul Catalina is a part of the show still until 6 o'clock. He'll be off for a little bit starting tomorrow. We're now joined by Levi Weaver of theathletic.com, covers the Rangers, and they again win last night against the Rays. Levi, thanks for your time. I'm not going to start with the Rangers question. I saw your tweet after Luka Doncic. I made this exact same face when I saw him take that shot. And there's a picture of the guy with, I think, Memphis or whoever it was, like in stunned, like that did not happen. And that was, how about that moment, huh?
Yeah, he looked like he was making the face that said, oh, wow, he really is going to try that. Okay, let's see if that works. And it totally worked. What an amazing, amazing moment that was.
Levi, are you readying for the end of season article the comeback of Kyle Gibson from the worst start you can imagine on opening day to being nails and maybe even polishing a Cy Young? I'm going to jump that far.
Yeah, that's admirable. I think there's enough weight out on that limb that I'm not going to join you there. But no, he's been really good, and I think this is the pitcher that the Rangers thought they were getting when they signed him last year. You know, he'd had a really good 2018 season, struggled with ulcerative colitis in 2019, and the hope was that he was going to be completely healthy and ready to go in 20. And I think the shutdown was probably not great for him. I don't know that it was great for anybody, really. But yeah, I think he has even admitted that, while he was healthy and his medication was working, he probably wasn't quite exactly where he wanted to be yet. And so far, has been, aside from that opening day bomb, has been really good this year. He seems like he is sort of trying to recreate that 2018 season.
Levi, what have the players or the manager, what has been kind of the thoughts overall on the lack of hitting, the problems at the plate? I mean, I know they put up a few runs last night, but that has been a struggle for them. What's kind of been the thought process there?
Yeah, so I think this is actually a really interesting topic because we talked to Luis Ortiz the other day, and he kind of saw it the same way that I already did, so maybe this is confirmation bias, but bear with me. He talked about how he referred to it as like planting a seed below the ground, and if you're looking for that tree, you're like, well, there's no tree here. It didn't work. That tree is not, there's no tree. Clearly, there's no tree. It just takes some time for that tree to grow. And when you look at the lineup, like there have been a couple of times this year where the oldest guy in the lineup is Jose Trevino, who, by the way, this is his first year as a full-time starter. As is the case with Nate Lowe, Nick Solak, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa started, questionably was a starter at the beginning of last year. Let's see, who else? Center field, Leody Taveras, his first time to start a season as a full-time starter. So they've got a lot of really inexperienced guys. And, man, they hit a buzzsaw with Musgrove and also with the guy from Tampa Bay they faced just a couple days ago that looks like the guy from Peaky Blinders. My brain more readily identifies him with Peaky Blinders than his name, which is Tyler Glasnow. So, yeah, I mean, some really, really good pitching against an offense that's kind of still finding themselves. And Chris Woodward said today, the last couple of games he started to see them behave like they did in spring training. And they had a really good spring training where they were more selective. They weren't chasing as much. They were waiting and swinging at pitches that were in the zone. They kind of got away from that a little bit early, but maybe some of that is just it's a young team that's kind of trying to make their mark and try and prove that they are ready to be full-time big leaguers. So yeah, let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
They've got some youth here that some of it shows promise, and then again, it's a 162 game season. Do you like, even though it's just 2 weeks into the season, do you like a little bit of what you've seen with some of the young faces they have?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know that that's a blanket statement that I'm willing to make. Leody Taveras has looked like he's really struggled. Mm-hmm. Anderson Tejeda has really looked like he struggled, and understandably so. I mean, those guys got some big league time last year, but they're still really young. But Nate Lowe, they traded for him hoping that he was going to be the next great first baseman, and he has had a couple of, he had a cold streak that he just sort of snapped the last couple of nights, but he's looked really good in a couple of places too. Joey Gallo I think he's been on base every game this season. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa looks like he's going to be the guy that he wants to be. I think there's probably a little bit more to see out of him. So yes and no. There have been a few stretches where they put together some good at-bats, and then a few stretches where the young guys look really young.
How many guys that are playing regularly right now would you say are legitimately in the Rangers' long-term plans?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I would say Nate Lowe is. I would say Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is. Now, will he be the shortstop? I don't know. Let's see what happens with this crop of free agent shortstops that are coming this offseason. I mean, you got Corey Seager and Trevor Story and Carlos Correa. If the Rangers can snag one of those guys, yeah, you could move him back over to third base or second base. Probably second because Josh Young is coming at some point. I think Leody Taveras is a long-term part of this team, even if they have to send him back down for some more seasoning this year. Gallo, it depends, right? Like, he's getting to that point in his career where they're either going to have to extend him or maybe trade him, because you probably don't want to just lose him to free agency. So I could see that going either way with Gallo. Trevino, I think, is an interesting one because he has hit really well this year. I think better than anybody expected. But you've also got Jonah Heim, who looks also pretty good, and Sam Huff is on the way. So they've got kind of a logjam at catcher that I'll be interested to see how that shakes out over the next couple of years. What did the Rangers relievers do to get so unlucky to be kind of getting wiped out the way that they have been already? Man, no kidding. Probably their 6 best relievers were on the injured list to start the season. And I don't know. I don't know how much of that is just the fact that they had a long layoff last year and a short season and, the weird usage. And usage is such a rough thing with pitchers and the chronic workload and the acute workload and all of this. I wish I had a better answer. I do know that there have been injuries all around the league. It's not just the Rangers. It's not exclusive to the Rangers. But, man, yeah, to lose, Jonathan Hernandez, who was your best relief pitcher, Jose Leclerc, who is set to maybe be the closer. And we could just run through a whole. I don't know if we've got enough time to run through all the injured relievers. It's a lot, but some of these guys, they had a really rough first couple of games. But names like Josh Sborz and Brett DeGuss and guys like that they're getting the job done, and that's been kind of interesting to see those guys like really step up and be the next guys up. So.
We've mentioned Gibson, Paul did, and he's pitched the last couple of times out. But last night was Kohei Arihara, and what he did, and of course he's a guy that's someone that came in. You expect him to contribute pretty quickly. Is that someone that helps stabilize the rotation with what you saw? Yeah, if he can pitch like he did last night, for sure. I mean, the dude throws like 7 pitches. So anytime you're sort of running through a league for the first time and they're trying to figure out which one of those 7 you're about to throw, you're working at an advantage. He has been a command guy in the past. I think he's still probably getting adjusted to the MLB ball, which is slightly different from the Japanese ball, and the MLB mound, which is slightly different from the Japanese mound. So as he's making those adjustments, those will continue to get better, but at the same time, the league will continue to kind of get a better scouting report on him. So I don't know that he's going to ever be an ace. He's honestly probably like a solid number 4, maybe peaks at a number 3 starter type. But, the Rangers could use that right now. So, I think the ability to eat innings after all of these guys have not pitched a whole lot in the last year. Levi, thank you, man. Great to have you on. Hope we get you on a few more times if that's okay. Love your knowledge. Appreciate the time. Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Levi Weaver, the Athletic.com covers the Rangers. They're 5-7. They just beat the Rays a couple of games in a row. I like him better just for making a Peaky Blinders reference.
And look, he does look like him.
Show. No, he looks like he could be a movie star.
Like Cillian Murphy.
I was going to ask him that, but I don't know if maybe we
Peaky
will.
Blinders.
So, coming up next, earlier today, in fact, right off the top of the show, former Baylor guard, Davion Mitchell's back at his hometown of Hinesville, Georgia. There's a parade that has started. They will then have a post-parade celebration and ceremony honoring him. It's been one heck of a ride for Davion Mitchell. We had him right off the top. We're going to play that again, and then after that, Baylor men's tennis coach Michael Woodson, as they're about an hour or so away from starting their match with Texas in the indoor facility because of the weather that's in the area. And this is SicEm365 Radio.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. In a long business meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
But we go to Hinesville, Georgia, and All-American and Defensive Player of the Year and National Champion and now a hero in Hinesville, Georgia. Davion Mitchell joins us live on SicEm365 Radio with Craig Smoak, David Smoak, and Paul Catalina. What does today mean to you? I think you asked that when you won it all, the parade, and now today your hometown is honoring you today. What's it like, Davion?
Man, it's an amazing feeling. I'm blessed to be in this position where the whole town is coming out to support me. They always supported me throughout my whole journey in my basketball career. So it's just a good feeling just to have this get together with this city. It's good for the city. My thing is I hope I inspire the little kids that's playing basketball and want them to work hard. Want them to follow the same path as me.
Davion, how many people have you seen here in the last 24 hours or so that you haven't seen in a while?
Not too many. I try to stay out the way. Trying to go places, a lot of places. I'm just waiting for this parade just to see everyone. I just try to stay out the way. But I mean, I see my friends, all my best friends. We just hung out a little bit, ate together. So it was good.
Davion, how was your experience on Monday night at the parade here in Waco, not only being around your team, and who knows, everybody's going to go their separate ways in some cases, but all the former players that came back, the city, just what was that support like for you on Monday night?
Man, it was crazy. For the whole city to come out, I didn't know it was going to be that big of a parade. I didn't know. I kind of thought we was going to go up the street and just like only our fans were going to be there, but it was like the whole community. It was just a crazy feeling. I mean, I've never seen that many people. I didn't even know there was that many people in Waco. It was crazy. I'm just glad that they came out and supported us. The coach did a really good job of just amping this up and make sure that all the fans knew about the parade so they can come out and support us.
Well, Hinesville, Georgia has a little over 30,000, and they're all about to be there for this parade they're going to throw for you today. What's that like?
Okay, say it again. You kind of breaking up. I'm sorry.
Hinesville, Georgia, your hometown, Liberty County, it has about, 33,000 or so that live in where your hometown is, and I believe there's a parade for you and much more tonight. What's that going to be like?
Man, hopefully it'd be pretty big. I mean, I know a lot of people want to come out and support. I mean, cause it's kind of in the middle of the week, so it's like it's a Thursday, so people probably got work. But I know the people that can come out will come out. I mean, there's not a lot of people that dislike me in this city. It's a lot of people that always got my back and always supported me. So it's gonna be a good feeling just to see all of them out there.
Davion, I asked Jared Butler this a couple weeks ago. We had him on the show and we were talking about you. For a lot of people, COVID, where you were restricted in what you're doing, kind of changed their routine. But you were a guy who the coaches sometimes had to beg you to get out of the gym and take a break. So in that year that, or the few months that you were away and had to just be in the gym, did it really change your routine all that much, or it just give you more of a reason to be in the gym by yourself?
No, I mean, I kind of never listened to the coaches. Just 'cause they're not out on the floor with me. I mean, even though they're just trying to help me and my health and things like that. But I know what I had to do to get better. I mean, they supported me in that way, even though they know I didn't listen. They wasn't mad at me, but they was like, Davion, we don't want you to get hurt, anything like that. So, I mean, I kind of understood. So I kind of slowed it down, but I still was at the gym, just working on little things and not go hard.
What was the first thing? I'm sorry, Davion. What was the first thing that you did when you were able to get out of the bubble? Like, was there a restaurant you wanted to go to, a place you wanted to go to? What was the first thing you were able to do?
My first thing, I would say I wanted to go see my family. I didn't get enough time to see them, so I wanted to go see them.
Davion, there's a couple of things that you did during the tournament that I've learned about in the last couple of hours. One was, everyone knows that Adam Flagler, who ended up having an incredible tournament run, had been kind of in a little bit of a funk. What do you remember what you told Jerome Tang about Adam and what he needed, or what you suggested as a leader with the team?
Yeah, y'all must have talked to Coach Tang. So, I remember having this conversation because Adam was kind of like me in a sense where he's a hard-working guy. He's not going to be in the way of anything. He's going to do what he has to do just for the team. He's always thinking about the team. So I just remember talking to him and told Coach Tang, he's kind of like me. You got to, give him, some room to – you can't really just scream at him in front of everybody. He probably don't take that as well. I mean, he took it as a leader, but he don't take it as well, and it probably can affect him. So I remember talking to him about it, and Coach Tang said, yeah, I understand. Because Coach Tang know with me, he doesn't really do that with me because sometimes I don't take it well, but sometimes I do. So he knew what to do. He made an adjustment. I think Adam had a really good career this year. I mean, he played really well for us. He was like our spark off the bench. So I think for him, Coach Tang did a really good job with him.
Also, another spark off your bench is Matthew Meyer. And at halftime of the Arkansas game, things had not gone as great for him as that he wanted or the team needed. You remember that moment with Coach Tang on that too?
No, that was actually the Gonzaga game.
Okay.
I remember, because Matt was he was flagging defensively, but and Coach Tang is a guy that really looks at defense. He's really hard on defense, and he felt like Matt could have played harder. I felt the same way. So I remember him and Coach Chang kind of butted heads about that, and I remember Matt was like kind of mad, so I had to take Matt on the side and tell him like, bro, this is the last game of the season. Like, we don't need to bump heads now. This is the championship game. We need you. And in the second half, Matt turned to a defensive stopper. He took really big plays, took a charge on Duke to draw his. He got in foul trouble. He made a couple 50-50 balls. He got those. He just changed the whole game with his defensive presence, because y'all know Matthew's an offensive guy, score the ball at a high level. So he just changed the game defensively, and that helped us win the national championship.
No question about it. He did contribute in a big moment when they tried to get close, and then you guys blow their doors off. We're talking to Davion Mitchell, Baylor All-American guard on SicEm365 Radio.
Davion, one of the things I remember reading a book about Peyton Manning was that he would spend like big parts of the offseason, watching himself on film and learning how to do a fake handoff that looked like his real handoff. And he was kind of a scientist when it came to that. You're kind of the same way when it comes to basketball. Coach Tang told us a few months ago that you spent a lot of time just looking at the way your hands were on the ball when you were shooting it to improve your shooting.
Yeah, I think I kind of started out in the summer. Like last year, I wanted to have the good rotation on the ball, so it just feels a lot better when you got a good rotation and it goes in more. So just having my hands, it's something that I emphasize with a guy named Rim back of at the GA and Matt Gregg. Those guys would always tell me, the rotation is bad, and I just know when the rotation is bad, it's going to be a really bad chance it's going to just be off. So it's one thing I work on. I try to, every time I'm by myself or something, I try to just have my hands on the basketball and work on putting my hands on the seams of the ball so I can get good rotation.
Davion, you obviously yesterday made it official that you were entering the NBA draft. I know Matthew Meyer's going to test the waters as well, and there will be other Baylor players. But can you just talk about making that decision and what's it like to start that process, which I would imagine is a lifelong dream?
Yeah, man, it was a hard decision. Kind of talked to my family about it. I love Baylor, but I think it was the right thing for me and my family. Like you said before, I'm just blessed to be able to put myself in a position where I can make it to the NBA. That's something I always wanted to do when I was younger. It's kind of like everyone that plays basketball, that's their dream to go to the NBA. So to finally be able to do it is a one thing. So, like I said before, I'm just blessed, man.
Yeah, well, and so is Baylor, because you were a part of it, and everyone else as well, to watch you lead, along with others, the championship a week ago Monday. So you have this opportunity. You put a lot of work into it. Paul mentioned the extra hours and the extra practice and things that you did. When did you realize that you were about to explode compared to what you were as a really good player to become an All-American, Defensive Player of the Year, and national champion? Was there a moment where you kind of felt like, okay, this is it?
I think after the Illinois game, that was a really big game. Just because they were ranked so high, they was a really good team, and we were, and that was like the biggest. That's kind of like one of the biggest games in our regular season. That was like one of our biggest games. So when I played pretty good that game, I kind of knew like the confidence in me was like getting higher. I was like, okay, I can really do something this year. This can be a year where I can do things, and this team is special. We can do things just by beating a really good team, a team that's been playing together. So I was like, I knew we can really do good things, and after that game, I was like, yeah, we're going to be really good.
Have you always had that quick first step on offense and defense before you got, necessarily good, as good as you are now? Were you always able to get where you wanted to go pretty quickly?
Yeah, I was always the guy that had that quick first step. That was kind of what I was known for in high school, getting to the rim and finishing at the rim and just blowing by people. So, it's always been the thing.
A lot of your high school dunks are going around here lately. Have you noticed that on like social media? A lot of people have dug back through your high school highlights, and I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, everybody's noticing now. I always had, I could jump really high in high school. I kind of lost it in college just because it's kind of hard to play a college game because you play so hard on both ends, especially for me. I play so hard on both ends. It's kind of hard to do those dunks like I did in high school.
A head coach and a point guard are the ones who could never have a bad practice, and I was told that Davion never once did he ever have what they would consider not a full throttle practice where you were locked and loaded. Your uncle, Derek, family members, of course, Derek's been great along the way. He told me he walked into the barbershop. He's lived in Hinesville, Georgia since 1986 or 7. He walked into the barbershop earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, and you know what they said to him? They said, "Where's Davion?" They did not care about Derek being there. They asked where you were. What's that been like?
Man, it's been crazy here. It's kind of like I can't really go anywhere without people having pictures, and I'm just blessed to have that name. Everyone will take pictures with me because I never had that before. So, but yeah, I actually went to the barbershop right afterwards, and everyone was like, had a long talk to everyone. It was a cool thing.
Davion, yeah, there's a reason why and how you get to where you are. A lot of it is your great God-given talent, but also your hard work. But it's a faith-based team, no question, the way Baylor was, from what you heard from whoever was there. When you look back at the opportunity for you to go from Auburn to Baylor and then what happened, what was that like? And in the end, what does that mean to you, that this journey and the decision to go play for Baylor led to what it is right now for you?
Yeah, me and my mom kind of talked about it. Like, man, if I didn't have that career at Baylor, at Auburn, who knows where I would have went? Like, what if I would have averaged like 9 points? I would have stayed. Like, it probably wouldn't have been the same. So we talked about everything happens for a reason. So like me leaving Baylor, I think that was the best decision I made. Me leaving Auburn was the best decision to go to Baylor. Because they did everything for me. Auburn did a really good job with me. They taught me a lot of things. It just wasn't I didn't feel like I fit there. So, but me going to Baylor was the best decision I ever made in my life.
Davion, you're about to start this new journey, and I know you got to go because it's a busy afternoon and evening. The parade at 6 o'clock Eastern, and then there's a ceremony after that as well where they will honor you as they should. What does Baylor mean to you, from Coach Drew to Coach Tang to Coach Jacobs? You mentioned Rem and so many others, all the former coaches and players. You saw 130 former players come back that had no idea maybe who you were 3 or 4 years ago. In the end, what does Baylor mean to Davion Mitchell?
Man, it means a lot. Those guys changed my life on the basketball court and off the basketball court. They taught me how to be a man, keep God first, and that's what I do in my life. So I just, like I said before, Baylor's the best decision I've made in my life. I'm thankful for Coach Drew for letting me be the point guard or be the leader on the team and learning things from him, man. He's the most humble guy I know. I try to take things from him. He's a special guy. He's always going to be there forever for me. I think that's the guy he is. And I'm just thankful for all the coaches and GAs that just put up with me. I'm always in the gym or asking questions. Learning from them was a once in a lifetime thing. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna come back to Baylor and support Baylor throughout their whole years Coach Drew's there, and just Baylor in general. I'm always gonna come back to support and do things for Baylor.
Has it been a blur all these since the tournament? Maybe has it been kind of a blur the last week or so?
Yeah, for sure. It just went by so fast. Like me and Rem, when the DAs talked about it, man, the season was like fast. Like it was, you didn't notice it. But like you said before, we national championships, and that was our goal. Glad we got to accomplish that goal.
Davion, thank you very much. Tell Derek we appreciate him. I'll text him as well. Enjoy the night, the moment, the journey, the memories, and good luck with what you do next in the National Basketball Association. We appreciate you so much for joining us to start the show today.
Thank you.
Davion Mitchell.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 super fan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
Michael Woodson, head coach, Baylor men's tennis, of course, number 2 in the country. They've won 10 consecutive matches, and today against Texas, number 7, third time they've met this year. Michael, you guys are on a tremendous run. I know there's 2 matches left before you get to the Big 12 tournament, which is hosted at your beautiful campus in the Herd Center. Your thoughts about how well, the confidence, the momentum your program has right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys have a ton of confidence in themselves and each other. Certainly excited to get out there and compete every day. We've been pushing them, that we will compete anywhere at any time against anybody, and they've really embraced that very well. And it's certainly easy to get up for matches like Texas and TCU coming up, but for us, we're just ready to go, trying to enjoy every opportunity that they have together and compete their butts off and have fun.
7-0, 6-1, 7-0, 5-2. These are some of the match scores, but they're not all that easy. It looks like you're just dominating, and in some cases you are, and you should. What does it say that you're winning the close matches? What does that say about your team mentally and physically and toughness?
They trust themselves and they trust each other. That's the thing that we talk about. We look around the room and we say, we've got the most complete team in the country. So it's easy for one of our guys to go out there and in those pressure situations go for their shots because they can look to their left and to their right and understand that those guys are probably going to get the job done. And they're in good situations. And so we have played a lot of close matches and we have had a lot of close sets, but we've had several situations where 3 or 4 sets are coming down to, 5-all or 6-all going to a breaker, and we end up winning all of them. And that just tells you how mentally tough our guys are and how much they trust themselves in those moments to really play their games.
Yeah, and what does that do? Whether it's what we just saw with the men's basketball team, that if, for example, if Jared Butler's off, then Maceo Teague or Davion, or it's Adam Flagler, you saw the run. And in sports, knowing that your teammate can pick you up if you're down a little bit, what does that mean? And not just in play, but also at practice and in camaraderie as well.
It makes a huge difference. I mean, what the basketball team did, one of those guys is not going to have their best night, but there's a really good chance that all 4 of them are not, going to have an off night. And even though we have an individual sport, it matters. When you look around and think, I have to win, then you're feeling a lot more pressure. Your opponent, relaxes, and you get into a tough situation. And even though, again, tennis is one-on-one and you don't directly affect your teammates' play, it makes a huge difference to look to your right and to your left and see those guys out there and how strong and confident they are. It makes you relax and go for it, really.
Obviously, the forecast, the weather forecast, it looks like it might, who knows, the possibility of rain. You've got the tennis center, the Hurd Tennis Center, which is gorgeous, but you also have the Hawkins Indoor. Have you made a call on that yet?
We have not made a call on it yet. The forecast doesn't look great, but we're going to hold out hope that we'll be able to get outside and play this evening. But if we have to go inside, we're very fortunate to have such amazing facilities, so it won't cause too much of a hiccup for us, just less fans, unfortunately.
The way tennis, Michael, is played, Michael Woodson, men's tennis coach at Baylor, number 2 in the country with us on SicEm365 Radio, the way the game is played, the speed of the game, the generation of what the velocity is. Inside, is the game faster?
It is. It's a lot faster. Our courts are slower than most indoors, but it's a faster game because you take out all the elements. There's no sun, no wind. There's just less friction in there, so the ball travels clean through the court a little bit more. And so it to me, it favors a higher level team. Just because, the elements typically act as an equalizer. You can't play as clean a tennis as you would normally. And so for us, we like it. We love to play outside, but, indoor tennis is certainly something that's suited for some of our guys in particular.
Now, the way the NCAA has the extra year or someone who can come back even if they've a senior or whatever, and we've seen this now across the board in sports. This is senior day against Texas, but how difficult sometimes is that when people might come back or not? And I know you are reloading all the time and you've got more coming through the pipeline, but the decisions on things like that used to be so simple. It was senior day. All the eligibility was up. You're going to get recognized. Does that change now with all the extra year eligibility that's available?
I think for sure. I mean, we're fortunate enough to have 5 guys that have benefited from this extra year that are on our team right now. So there's no question that those guys are going to be done, and they'll be the ones that we're honoring. But we have two fourth-year guys. that are a huge part of our program. And, one's an All-American in the past, and they'll probably both be All-Americans this year. We just happen to be fortunate enough that they've already made the decision that they're going to come back. And so for us, it's a little bit cleaner, but it's definitely an issue around the country that a lot of coaches and programs are dealing with. It's really hard to plan from a high school level to a collegiate player level, and then the coaches. I mean, it's a bit of a mess.
Is it eventually going to be like someone who charges a credit card? And what I mean by that is that, you charge it on the credit card, you pay a little bit off, but eventually the credit card balance is due. Is that a concern when it comes to scholarship, the juggling and management of the roster?
I think it's always like that. In some regard is trying to make sure you can, especially in an equivalency sport, making sure you get as much bang for your buck as possible, and you're planning ahead. It's a totally different kind of planning now, because with the transfer portal and with all these extra years of eligibility, some really, really good players are going to be looking for graduate school opportunities to play their last year. And so, we have to make a decision. Do we hold off and hold back scholarship and kind of wait and take our chances, or do we commit to younger guys earlier? And there's a lot of benefits to having the older guys. The grad transfers we have right now are so mature, they're so appreciative of the opportunity, and their impact on our program is immense. So it would be silly to think that we would stop running that play while we can.
You have a chance on the horizon to win or capture part of or the Big 12 championship. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the tournament at your place right after that. It's a program that has won so much, so many things. Is it ever taken for granted?
I don't think so with this group. I mean, back in 2019, we won the conference tournament. And actually, if we had have lost, that would have been the first class that had not won the Big 12 tournament in the past 20 years. And so it really kind of refreshed us all on, just how difficult it is, especially now that the conference has become so strong. Every team in the conference can beat each other and could win the conference, both in the regular season and the tournament. It's just so highly competitive that, we definitely have our sights set on these matches and then, to the NCAA tournament probably a little bit more. But, no, definitely not taking it for granted. I think if we are fortunate enough to be able to win the conference, it will be quite an accomplishment.
What does it mean to you that as when you were named the interim head coach, and you've been at Baylor now for half a decade, but what does it mean to you that this is your first run through it here in the spring, and here you are in a position because of last year's season being shut down?
I'm just super thankful and blessed to be here at Baylor. I mean, I love it so much. My family loves Waco and the university, and it's just a phenomenal group of young men. So very fortunate to be here and just enjoying the ride with these guys, and just very thankful to be able to watch them compete and to be able to train, help them develop day in and day out, and not just on the court but off the court. Those are the things that you typically remember, is all the travels and the time spent together individually working with them on and off the court and seeing them grow over time. And having some of these guys for 4 or 5 years, it's just special to see their work paying off and to see how much they've developed into leaders. And they've just made this transition much easier for me, and I'm very thankful for that.
As a Valpo guy, how proud were you of Scott Drew and Baylor? Not just because it's Baylor, that's the number one reason, but the fact the connection to his dad, Bryce, and Scott from Valpo.
Of course. I actually texted with Homer before the game even started in the final, and I just wanted him to know how proud I was of him and his family, and how cool it is to be able to be pulling for a Baylor and a Valpo guy, all wrapped into one. And, I had a good feeling about the game, but you just never know. And so we exchanged some messages, and just couldn't be happier for him. I mean, in the world of sport, especially big-time college basketball these days, to see Scott hunker down and build a program like he has at Baylor and stay. It's just a testament to his family and what Homer instilled into his kids. And little known fact, Scott was a tennis player. So, they love tennis. And, I'm just excited to have the opportunity to be at the same university and represent, collegiate athletic program alongside the Drew family.
You're having fun, aren't you? I can tell. I heard so many things about you when you were the assistant, but when you had the opportunity to take over the program from people, not at Baylor, some of that too, but people in the tennis community of what they thought about Michael Woodson. You're enjoying yourself right now, aren't you?
This is not a job for me. I love it. I could do a lot of things, but do this because it's just so rewarding to spend the time with these young men and with this amazing staff and work to improve their lives, give them the best experience they possibly can, and set them up for success. Whether that's in tennis or in another area of their lives, we just love getting after it every day. So yes, I'm having a lot of fun.
Thank you, Michael. Michael Woodson, again, Texas tonight, Baylor in Texas, number 2 against number 7, either at the Herd Tennis Center or possibly indoors based on the weather. And this is SicEm365 Radio.
Actually, they will be indoors because it started raining a little bit ago. I had a chance to visit with Michael Woodson earlier today, so they will be inside the Allison Indoor Tennis Facility as they play Texas number 2 against number 7. A lot of great feedback from you on the interview with Davion Mitchell. We had at 3 and then also racked it up at 5:20 or so, and we appreciate the feedback on that. A lot of people. Armstrong showing me this, that Baylor Equestrian beat 2-time defending national champion Auburn today, Paul, 8-7 in Waco.
The person who wrote that post and said Baylor Equestrian mounts, was that he did, Franco. Was that like a double entendre there?
If you know Franco, he's called this show.
Okay.
He is a smartass.
Okay.
And he absolutely meant to write it the way he did.
Respect, Franco. Respect. They're continuing to perform at an elite level.
There's even controversy. Alleged horseplay.
Stop this. Stop.
Do you think it's harder to recruit horses or like actual people? Like, is it tough to recruit a horse?
The score of this competition was changed after it was released, according to Gabe Mitchell. And then at Josh Vitale, not sure if related to Dickie V, I inquired about this after it looked initially like Auburn had won the final ride. It did not. The person doing the live updates for the NCEA in Waco entered the wrong score. Online, the score the judges issued was not changed. Baylor pulled off the upset.
Yeah.
Then Gabe Mitchell wanted to know, Paul, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Did the scorers provide an explanation for a 7 personal best for Baylor, a team that was 2-7, playing at home? All of it doesn't add up. We need an explanation for this. How did they go back and change a score like this? Bobby Moore, one of the horses was high.
I was going to give you a...
Bruce Pearl at Auburn. I bet they recruited one of those horses off our roster while he was still there.
I thought the officials were going to say nay.
I don't know why you're talking about this.
Hey, Armstrong, you've got some breaking basketball news.
Yes. Yeah, Mark Vidal officially cleared for the draft.
I thought he did that already.
No, he said, I'm not coming back. But that's not officially declared. Now he.
Oh, yeah, he could have gone. He could have gone to,
No, it's time. Good for Mark.
I love it. You know what? And I love his post. It's time, villain out.
Yeah.
He played that role as well as anybody possibly could, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he was, and I tell you what, I think Mark Vidal, who was in a not bad place, he was just kind of down. I think that Fran Fraschilla should get a ring.
Oh, Fran, yeah.
Because he kind of lit a fire under the big fella.
I really wish he would have worn that black mask even longer, like a villain.
I loved it when they had the all-conference team out, and then he showed the Joker face or whatever it was. All right, it's time for Paul's 5 at 5:55.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
All right, brought to you by Slapsticks Comedy Club, coming soon to Waco. Follow their Facebook page. See Kevin and Mike. So they're bringing the laughter back to Waco. You can follow them on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. All right, so I'm going on a trip tomorrow, and I'll preface this by saying what gave me the inspiration for this is every time I got to go on a flight, I put an alarm on my phone to check in, and sometimes I wind up ignoring it and I check in later. But I don't know how this happened with my want-to-get-away fare, but it happened. I'm flying to Nashville tomorrow, and I checked in at 11 o'clock. I was boarding position A1.
You paid for that.
I must have somehow.
You paid for that somehow when you did, because I was A2 from Orlando to Dallas.
Yeah. So
from Indianapolis.
Yeah, I was So
well, okay, that reminds me. I mean, would you rather be A1 or 2 or 5 or 10, or would you rather be B or C? Because you on a Southwest flight, you don't get to
Yeah, I think it's amazing that I get to pick the whole plane. That's what I get to do.
But see, to me, that's just way too much pressure.
It's a lot.
You go to sit here, then you wonder, okay, did I screw this up? It's kind of like getting Ryan Lee for Peyton Manning. You never know.
It is. It's a lot of pressure, but I pretty much sit in the same spot every time anyway. All right, number 5. The best feeling is whoa, my God.
Wait a minute. Did we mention he mentioned the Mark Vital news. So now it's Vital, Davion Mitchell, and now we wait at least for some other.
What are you talking about, Smokey?
Why are you interrupting this right now?
Did we already talk about Vital?
Yes.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
What in the hell?
Look at this graphic, Smokey.
No idiots in front
Look
of
who
you.
it is. It's me. Oh.
Jack with a good.
Oh. No wonder he left early.
He did.
I bought him a beer today.
Craig, by the way, Craig went to practice. He's at football practice. Golly, we got.
Wow.
Wow.
No, look, Smokey can tell you, I'm an efficient traveler. I'm not one of these people in line.
I don't know. What do you mean an efficient traveler?
I've got to hold your jock half the time where they're going.
I have traveled on my own more in the last.
Who books your stuff?
That's because you're my secretary.
Oh, shut up. Stop it. Come on.
No, you book the flights, but I tell you when and where we need to go and how much I can spend. But booking the flights is easy.
No. But as far as getting to the gate, checking in, I'm efficient. I am a well-oiled machine.
You're a little bit of a nervous Nancy.
Because I'm efficient. I don't suffer fools. Which is why when you have idiots in front of you in line, of which I am not one. If you have idiots in front of you in line.
Are you talking about at HEB?
No, like anywhere, but like in the airport, you get idiots in front of you in line. Oh, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, they always want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if I walk up to customer service, I did this on my own, not with your help, in Orlando to check. Actually, even before that, I checked in to see if I could get upgraded on my flight, like $30. And so I did. I did that on my own. When I was in Orlando, I went to do that. There was one other person in front of the counter, and I started having anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that picture. All right, number 4, fast baggage claim. Nothing like it when the light goes off and it's boom, right off the...
Yeah. You mean, when you're... Yeah.
The antithesis is what happened to us
in Field. It bounced to 3 different baggage claims.
Well, you remember New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl.
Was it left field or American?
Yeah, but we...
Oh, God.
With New Orleans, man, we thought we were going to make it in time for the media availability, and we landed 2 hours before it.
Yeah, that was tough.
It was tough. We waited for an hour for the bags in New Orleans.
I don't understand. There's like 5 belts, right? Baggage claim area, 5 of them, and one of them will have 4 flights coming on one baggage claim, and the other ones are just sitting there.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Number 3, early boarding. I'm just excited about that.
Yeah,
A1. A1. There. I mean, that's why. It's early. I was A1.
I don't know, but what's the difference between A1 and A9? You know, there's
nothing. But I mean, like I would have been excited about A9, but you know, A1. A1.
The other day when I got on that A2 and I had my laptop bag and I put it up as I walked on the plane. I put it up in that first, like the first container, then walked back to a exit row to have more leg room. And the guy who was one of the, I guess, attendants went, "Why would you have put your bag way up there?" I go, "That way, when I'm on my way out, I just pick it up." He goes, "But now the people who are sitting up front, now they're not going to have room in their..." I said, okay. I felt bad.
Yeah, you probably should have. It was a bit.
How many times have you ever gone on a plane, sat down, you had to put your bag behind you, though, and then when you get up, because people are so panicky to get off, and you want to go back 2 or 3 rows, and they're like mad at you, and okay.
Yeah. All right, number 2, no line at security.
Oh, that never happens.
You have
Although
TSA.
I
You have TSA.
have that thing called
TSA, so
yeah.
pre-check. So I don't because my mother lost my birth certificate. I found it though, thankfully.
Kind of like a Latin American baseball player.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So how old are you really? I mean,
66.
Okay.
I'm 66 years old.
All right.
All right. Number one, the empty seat next to you.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, nothing better. And especially if you are. Now, one of the things I'm going to have to do tomorrow, and I don't normally have this, and this is something I used to do when we travel together, is if we're going to sit in the same row, one of us sits by the window, one of us sits in the aisle, and then you lean over and talk to each other.
Yeah,
you put your arm in the row.
You put the little headrest there.
Yeah, you talk to each other, and you just have to pretend as people are walking by.
I was on a flight on the way back from Indy where they said it was a full flight. So you know what that means. You're screwed. Somebody's sitting next to you. I was on a full flight, and there was one seat empty, and it was to my right, and I had leg room and the seat to my right. I won the lottery.
I've done that before. I have done it with strangers on the flight where they've come and sat in the other seat, and I said, listen, we're playing a dangerous game here. This flight is not full, but it's close. So what we need to do is pretend like we're waiting for someone that's with us.
Yep.
I know that you and I don't know each other, but for the intents of this flight,
we have somebody who's they're
Yes.
and they're large.
And then if they don't, here's the thing. And then if they don't show up, and somebody looks at like, oh, well, our friend didn't make it. I don't know what's going on. We'll have to call him when we land.
He had heart failure or something.
Harvey, man, now's always late.
Then you get on the phone. Hey, man, are you coming?
Yeah.
All right, Armstrong Sims, thanks for the updates today on the Baylor volleyball beat Pepperdine.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer was canceled. They're done for the season. Equestrian beat and shocked Auburn. I've now brought them up twice for you. Davion Mitchell, fantastic. Right now, they're probably presenting him the key to the city. His uncle goes, I really wish you wouldn't have brought that up. He might be listening. Ronnie Blake, former Baylor guard, Mickey Spagnola, Levi Weaver on the Rangers, and Michael Woodson, Baylor men's tennis, are right now starting off against Texas. Paul, have a great time. Paul will be out for about a week or so, maybe forever. Who knows? Life-changing. Thanks to Cole. Also to Armstrong, I'm David Smoak. To Jack, to Craig. He's at football practice. Good night on SicEm365 Radio.
Want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com. Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
It's the Jeep Celebration event going on now at Allen Samuels. You'll find special pricing on a new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo with total values up to $3,750 or 0% for 72 months. Also, check out the new 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Plus or Luxe with up to $5,000 in total values or 0% interest for 84 months. Allen Samuels, the best place to find your new Jeep. Located at 201 West Loop 340.
Come by, let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills.